Metamorph. This is the one I was thinking about. It's a compiler creator basically. Um,
Creates a compiler. Yeah.
so def and to the we should say like this guy has been madly creating like all these projects over the last, let's say, 2 years or something or other. And I think it's somewhat increasing. I don't know if it's increasing linearly or exponentially. But um, this one, um, uh, Nick Hodges has started using, like, I think as soon as he had kind of announced it, to try and make a, what do you call it? Like what's BNF? Um,
Binary notation format or
it,
something like that.
yeah, it's named after some researchers.
Oh, Bacchus.
Yeah, Bacchus Norform. Thank you. Um, it is basically, as I understand it, it's kind of like in Delphi, like 5 and 7, when we had all those. Um, they gave us the maps of like the Delphi language, or maybe that was Turbo Pascal, where there's going to be a symbol and an expression, and then there was a loop because there could be more expressions or something, or there had to be brackets. I don't know if you guys can picture those. In fact, let's ask for a Delphi or Pascal BNF diagrams. Images. I should have asked for images. This sort of thing. Um, Explaining JSON, saying because you know, maybe you can have a minus or you can't, and then you either have a 0 or a 1 to 9, and then maybe you can have some more digits or not. And then,
That's how they used to describe Delphi syntax back in the day, or Pascal syntax rather.
yeah, I was saying it was in the actual manuals that we got. Um, anyway, I won't grab it. But so Nick Hodges, like was all right. Let's go back one and find. I think he commented on. Did he comment on this one? So this was 1st of April. Oh yeah, it was just a very, very funny coincidence that the guy wasn't paying attention to that he posted this on the 1st of April, which I thought was incredibly amusing. Um, so yeah, yeah. See, Nick Hodges is already using Metamorph in a complex real-world scenario. Um, and I'll put that. This is Nick Pascal. I think he had maybe already started with this idea before the other guy came along. I'm not entirely sure, or he just leapt on what the guy had done and he tried is basically to specify Delphi at as at 13.1. Um, and I guess there seems to be like an actual almost book, possibly. I meant to come back to this and check it, but the lexical structure, like the type system, declarations, expression statements, everything like written out in a way that like can basically specified. It says here EBNF, which is extended Bacchus Norform. Um, 4,600 lines of specification and 23,000 words of technical detail, blah blah blah. And that this project here is to take that specification and turn it into a compiler. So I need more information about this. Um,
I've always wanted to do like, seen the Arnie language is based around Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, haven't
You know,
heard of
like
that.
a go-to is get to the chopper. Maybe we could do something like that with this.
Hey, before we carry on too much longer, lads, I should say hello to you all.
Hello very much.
Hey, John.
I'll stop sharing. You'll be able to see people better. Sorry, I've been missing chat messages from Lex. Yeah, so we mentioned local LLM a little bit. I have used RCS version control. Lex uses RCS, and he says, "Hi, John." Can you see? Yeah, you can see.
G'day, Lex. Sorry I missed you.
Oh no, Lex is absent of microphone, I believe, is my understanding. Yeah, so we've got things to find out more information of, hopefully sometime in the future. So I will, I'm gonna close down well, I'll just minimize the Claude code thing, and you should go for your life, Peter. Anytime.
Hang on a second, before you go, that thing where you define your own language and it builds your compiler, is that available now or is that a work in progress?
It's on. Oh, I'm not sharing, am I? It's on GitHub. It's called Metamorph, MORF, one in one word. I'll put the link in the chat if I can find the thing. Oh, wait. All right, Zoom, where are you? Oh, here we go, chat.
He's hiding.
I suspect maybe Jeff might have beaten me to it or something. No, that was telling me about a Lex message. But yeah, I don't know anything about it. I know that it exists, and I really, really want the guy to come tell us stuff about it. But yeah, I mean, I've known, like, going way, way back to like when I was in high school and knew that university existed. There were things like in the Unix world, like Yak, yet another compiler, and is it Lex? Was one of them called Lex?
Yeah.
Was it Lex and Yak? I think
Yep.
because there was this dragon book, I think, that I used to hear about and actually have never read or looked at. Oh, the dragon book. Which you can just find as a PDF online, probably illegally, but
Yeah, I might see if Apple Crumble was that.
oh yeah, I didn't do any preparation in the food direction.
Yeah, no, I bought some apple crumble and some ice cream.
So Alfred Aho, I've heard of the Aho book. I don't know that I realized they were the same thing. It's called Compilers, Principles, Techniques, and Tools by Aho, Lamb, Sethi. Oh, yeah, I'll put this link in the chat. Just to you can shift things if they're in the way, John. And the book's date of second edition is 1986. No, 2007 for the second edition. First edition, 1986. Um, so I'm going to put this link in the chat just so you can tut at it, and everybody studiously ignore the potentially um, um, less than legal PDF that I'm totally not downloading right now. I'm sorry, Peter. Please go ahead.
Are you sure? Ready?
Yeah. I will officially shut up right about now. Well, that's what
Well,
I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
so this is the website I was telling you guys about before. It gives it gives lots of details about different aspects of using AI. And I mean, it's machine learning and also like how you use it. So I've got part way through it. I think I'm at this one here at the moment. Is that correct? Anyway, you can then search around for the kind of, so how to build a large language model, maybe not Python fundamentals, but then you get getting started with local LLMs. That may be a good place to start for most people. And then you can go through and can learn quite a lot about that, how to actually make the prompts effective and that sort of thing. And that was a nice little starter before going into using Claude, actually. A friend of mine put me onto Claude. He's got a very ambitious project that he's working on, and he's a medical doctor, so he doesn't know anything about programming. But he's working on this very ambitious game, actually, a role-playing game. And so so he has LLM Studio, or LM Studio. I presume you guys saw that earlier. Someone else probably had that. Is there anyway? But I just thought I'd show you that.
Yes,
Uh,
Peter. I happen to have LM Studio and Olama here, but they're kind of equivalent to my understanding.
yeah,
Sim
I don't know, but I mean, I don't really know much about them. But my point was really this one here. This website here is actually is a good place to start learning if you don't have any other such thing already. How do I
I,
do?
I put the link in chat already, Peter.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Although I
No,
don't know if
that's a different one. That's not the here. This is the courses link. That's this one here. How to learn to do all sorts of things. Um. Anyway, doesn't matter. It is a good, yeah. So let's see. Good. So what I've done is, and this can be done now, as I said earlier, all the work's done remotely, and it's all done through sending tokens. So to keep things safe, I've put things in a virtual machine. So it's just a little Windows virtual machine here. Is this? Can I just like minimize this? Put that over. Oh, I can have it. Yeah, okay. Have it over here, I guess. All right. It's just the okay. So in this virtual machine, I've then got Delphi. I've also installed Claude. Now this is the Claude client. So rather than doing it on command line or using what's it called, Power, whatever. Here I can then go and pick between different projects. I actually use it here and also in my main computer as well.
a
But if I
quick
want to
shout out. Sorry, Peter.
yeah,
Quick shout out to Les, who's joined us. Les Fox. G'day, Les. Sorry
Hi.
to interrupt.
G'day, folks. How are you going?
Hi. Yeah, so then here we've got our Claude code, and we've got this is the chat. This is helpful for not so much accessing I'm going to do this, not so much accessing the code, but more having conversations. You can also do that on the just online. Let's see if I've got here. Yeah, but anyway, you like using the web client. No, don't close that. So sorry, I'm just trying. Come on, hurry up, open up. You've upgraded, haven't you? Okay. While that's trying to figure itself out and upgrade. Oh no, there it is. Okay. It's just very slow because it is a VM. But what it means is that it doesn't have access to the rest of my computer. So in theory, at least, it shouldn't be able to mock up anything sensitive on my computer by virtue of being inside a virtual machine. That said, I have given it access to shared folders on my machine, so that I have my WADUG, Claude, Delphi here, whatever, so that it has access to. I'll just show you here. So there's a C drive of the virtual machine, and then I've got 3 folders here that are all in my outside machine, in my physical machine. So it has access to these things, and I can access them normally, but that's all it can access, and that's for security reasons.
Peter,
Yes.
did you say what VM software? Oh, VirtualBox. I can see it now. Sorry.
Yeah. VirtualBox. I'm not sure this is the best idea. It is a bit. It's quite sluggish in my opinion, but I've installed it and it does the job, and that's good enough for me. The Claude isn't slower because, as I say, it, like you guys said, also it does everything remotely. So you can actually work with it here, and despite the VM being sluggish, Claude doesn't really seem to be affected much. So what I'd like to show you here, well, that's unfortunate because it's there, and this is what I'm going to be showing you guys. So let's try this. That's weird. Okay, just starting up Delphi. Okay.
And
So,
everything you're doing, Peter, is perfectly fine in the community edition.
yeah.
Yeah, great. Cool.
After Frank suggested, so for those of you who don't know, I was trying to get a new community license. It would send out, everything worked fine, except I could not get a community license code, the actual registration code. That's the one thing I couldn't get. So Frank suggested to download the latest version, like the demo, the 3-month one, or whatever, 60 days or whatever it is. And after that, it worked. So I suspect there may be some crossover in code there. So just to give you an idea of what this application looks like, it's a very simple thing. It's something I've been doing on paper for a long time. I'll see if I can find my little bag. Where's my bag? And then from here, I'll stop it. Here we go. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I have a very sparse list now of you can see here we have question marks. There's a laptop there. There's a laptop there. There's a phone there. There's a house there, and this is mimicking that. There's a laptop. There's a house. There's a phone. And so it's just a task list. So if I go here and I say my task is this, and I keep that, then there's my task. And the idea is simply I have a backlog. I'll get to that later, soon, today, and immediate. Now, the reason they look like this is because I usually do it on a piece of paper. And I've been doing this for years, and it's been very effective. So I thought, that may be useful as I was talking to a friend of mine who has ADHD, and he said, oh, see, that's proof that someone with ADHD, supposedly I have that, allegedly, can actually still be efficient despite ADHD. So I thought, okay, I'll turn my paper thing into an app. I think I still prefer doing it on paper. Maybe that's just old habit, but anyway. So this is what it looks like, and it looks like this on the Android device as well. I'm going to show you here. It is. You can see on the screen. It's just, I don't know if you can see, but there you go. I've just got a whole bunch of things like that, right? And it's the same deal. And it looks very much the same. The only difference is that on mobile apps, this new delete select this menu bar is on the bottom. And underneath that, yet again, I have a banner. I haven't tested the banner yet. I need to publish the app, I think, before I can see it. So all this is pretty much fully developed using Claude. I did not write the code. And I had to go through a couple of iterations because the first time was an absolute mess. And I'll show you why. So if we have a look here, I'm just going to go. Okay, so this is Fork. This is a graphical user interface for Git. If you guys aren't using this, you really, really should. All right, it helps enormously. So I deliberately left a few files here to check in, just so I can show you how I'm doing this. So Claude so this is my project here called, I'll just jump to it. So here's a little Git. Here's a by the way type of thing. Here's priority list. This is my Delphi project. I'm using Claude with it. So I've told Claude to use this as a project directory. Hence, it has inserted this where it has its own little files in there. It's also a Git folder. So Git has put its little thing in there and keeps track of stuff in there. I don't need those two. I can delete those. And then there's all this other stuff here. This is then mainly a Delphi project. So this priority list is pointing into there, but it shows us which files have changed. I don't care about this one. I do care about these ones in the source directory user interface. You see this here? Made some changes I want. So I'll double click that. I like that as well. I'm just going to take all of those. So I'll just double click that. Those I want to check in to the source safe. The Win64, that's a generated directory. That's for when that's a bin directory, like debug with the resources and so on. So we'll ignore that. We won't check that in. Deployment directory, no. No, I think this is all I want. So what I'll do here, now what was it I did? Yes. So what I've done here is, I'll show you in Delphi. I have done deployment files. So if you see here, it's Windows 64. I'm jumping around a bit, I know. So this is all dark theme now, but the default looks like this. This is what it looks like from what Claude generated. Claude generated these icons. This is all English, and that's all fine and well. But then I have made my own icons. So I can import them and I can show them. Boom, there you go. There are different styles. There's light, dark, aqua graphite. And these are just styles these are styles that come with Delphi. I've just selected a handful. So I thought it'd be nice to actually include those in the deployment. So what I've done is I've gone into, this is just Delphi, not Claude AI at all. And we're going to deployment, and here we can then specify for Windows 64-bit. You can then see I've got my icons files here. I've got a couple of them, Peter's Pen colored and not colored. I've got a bunch of styles. Only 4 of them I'm supplying, and then the Swedish language. It's a language file. So if we go in here, I go to text and I go to Svenska, and it's all Swedish. If you see that, it's all Swedish. The default language is, of course, English. So now it's all English again. Yeah. So it's internationalized. And so I wanted those to be available. So that's what these last changes are. I have made that internationalized. That said, yeah. So so I'll do that. I've selected what I want to stage, and I'll say deployed files. Okay, and I commit. So now when we look here, that really should have been main add mob banner. Yeah, anyway. Where's main? There's main. Oh, yes. So that's now checked in, and I can now push that to the server. So the server now has my latest changes. And if I want to compare differences, I can do this, and I can see the differences. I want to compare maybe these differences, and I can see, or, what happened from here to here, and I can get a summary of all the differences. This is so incredibly useful, you guys. I know that not everyone uses Git, but please do. Fork is practically free. It's $50 donationware, effectively. And it will really help your projects. Anyway, enough advertising for something that I'm not paid to advertise, but yes. Going back to Claude, how did I build this thing? Well, I'm just going to show you here. What had me a bit confused is because I haven't actually changed where the main is. You see main here? I first made an initial attempt, and it was so freaking messy that I didn't know what I couldn't actually tidy up the code. Shall I give you an example? If there's nothing here that I need, is there? I'm just going to do this for the sake of it. I'm just going to stash these files so I can apply them later. What's that? That's mainly deployment changes. Okay, so that's now done. So if I now go to the VM, close this, I'm just going to show you. Let's go to where it was when I was really trying to tidy up the code. So we're just going to check this out. So we've now switched hundreds of, well, certainly dozens, but I think possibly even hundreds of files have now switched in practically an instant. And I can now look at the code the way it used to look back then. And that's why that's not working, because it probably wasn't called that back then. Okay. So, have I lost you all? Probably I have. No one replied. So that
That's
means
good.
I've lost you.
listening. That's all good.
Okay. So if you have a look here, there aren't very many files here. But if you look at the size of these files, 1,700 lines. I mean, to me, that's a bug in itself. It is admittedly the main form, but let's go for something like the database manager. I don't know how large this is. It might not be too big. 743, it's not terribly, I mean, it's still too big, but it, when I was going to do things like just tidying up, if I'm going to see if I can find the dot, if I remember enough about this. You see here, urgency record. So do you remember when I was running this just now? I had two icons. I had the urgency icon, the one with the dot and the plus and the star, indicating how urgent the task is. And then I had the other one, which I just called, which Claude called domain. I figured that's good enough. That's with the car or the phone or the email or whatever. That's just to categorize. So for example, if I'm going to go driving, I'm going to the post office, I might as well group all the car ones together and it'll just do that in urgency order. And then I can see all the things that in the car together. So I can then plan a route and just get them all done in one go, rather than go off to the post office, come back. Oh, drats, I forgot that other thing. I was going to go to the supermarket as well. I just group them together, see them all, go and get them done all in one go, come back. I've done as many chores as possible. That's how you be efficient. So what it's done here is made them into records. And then it then has arrays of these records. And it regenerates these arrays over and over. So you have multiple instances of these arrays in different places. So the options form will have its own set of so if I go into the icons here and I'm going to select an icon list, it goes and generates them. And then back in the main form, this is the one with the tree, it goes and generates a separate copy. But the way it does it is it's so spaghetti that I just gave up. I could not sort this out. I could not refactor it. It was just too messy. I don't know how to show this without going in deep, and I'd really rather not, because to me it's just a waste of time. So what I did was I started again, and I told Claude, I want you to use, I'll show you here. We'll just go back to the latest here. And I told it that I wanted it to use proper OO principles with minimal coupling, I can't remember all the terms. I can find them actually. And it was just so much more effective. So now I've just gone back to there. We don't need that one. So I'll come back to this in a moment, how this was generated. Follow object-oriented principles. I explicitly told it this. Architecture must be structured into 3 layers: data layer, business layer, blah, blah, blah. The data layer should expose a well-defined interface, etc., etc. And then the code came out, many more units, but much tidier. So now if we look at what the code looks like, and hopefully by jumping around like that, I haven't broken it. But you see, it actually created subfolders. There's a source, there's a data layer, there's a business layer, there's a user interface layer, many more units. However, if you look at them like this, I presume it's not 1,700 lines. It may actually still be quite large. Oh, look at that, almost as big. It is, again, as I say, it's the main one. But it ended up being much tidier, much easier for me to understand what was going on. So the code is actually tidier. And you'll find many of these are actually, they're not necessarily big um, big files. This one might be quite large. No, there you go, 342. That's about what I consider a healthy size of a Delphi file. It's about 300 lines, between 3 to 500 for something productive. Okay, close enough, right? But I can actually understand what this is doing, and I can actually refactor this. So I can actually manage and maintain this in the long term. But what was it? So any questions so far? Is anyone still awake is my first question.
Yeah, we're wide awake.
Is this a document that you're showing us right now? Is that something that you deliberately, directly fed to Claude?
Yes, and that's part of my method. So what I did was I went into the Claude web client specifically because it had no access to the hard drive. And then I described to it, I don't know if I still have, I doubt that I do. I might. Let's see. So this is Claude on my main machine, not in the VM. Priority list. Let's see here if this has the history. I wonder how far back I can go. No, that's not it there. I may actually have lost that. So we'll see. It would be Claude Web, wouldn't it? So it would actually be prior to tree discussion. Here you go. Probably this one here. And you can see this is quite a long discussion here, or it looks like a long discussion. Hey, can I please act? There we go. So it started off. I have a description of an app that I want. I would like you to tell me about any gaps or problems with the description. So I've just given a very short and simple text, which I thought described my app very well. I thought I had done a good job with my requirements document. I was wrong. So it comes up and says, here's my analysis of the gaps and ambiguities in the description. Section points, section points, section points, section. Oh, crap. I was nowhere near as good as I thought I was. So I then gave it answers. A whole bunch of, I gave it as clear answers as possible as I could. And Claude says, thank you. That's a thorough set of answers. Awesome. However, there are more things. So it went through, and between the two of us, we got to a point where Claude said, yep, this is good. We can now make this. You can see I'm going through here. There's a discussion back and forth until Claude decided this is enough for a clear specification document. So, okay, great. I now have a specification document. This is fantastic. Now I did this using the chat. For those, I don't know if you've covered that, but you've got Sonnet and you've got, well, this is just the chat. But when you go to Claude Code, you've then got at the time there were only Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. Now it's grown a bit, so you've got two versions of Opus, and you have other bits. Whoa, I don't know about that one. Let's just do that instead. Other levels of thoroughness that Claude works with. So that, all right, let's ask Claude Opus, do you see any problems in this document? Haha, that Claude Sonnet and I have made? Yes, there were problems. Shucks, man. So we went through those. Yep.
This is interesting because I've seen somebody else lots of people give advice about AI and all that sort of thing, but one thing that I'd seen was someone saying that they would start with like giving a specification or some sort of description of what they want to do and asking Claude or whatever to ask them all the questions it can think of about more details, like
It's
just kind of
this is
exactly what you've kind of done.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I started off with the basic idea and said, do you see any flaws? So I wasn't asking it for advice. I was asking it for
Critique.
corrections effectively. And Claude gives advice anyway. There's another app I started making, which is just, yeah, I can show you that later. And it did a phenomenal job there, to begin with anyway. So you can see here, this is version 3D. Does not mean that you can see it in parallax. It just means that it's version 3 and subversion. So
Sorry, I interrupted you. You were going to mention Claude Code giving
yeah.
its critique about, or
So
Claude Opus was going to give a reply.
all right, what was that?
You'd created a document with Sonnet, and then you were asking Claude Opus to comment on it.
Yes, because Claude Opus is more thorough. So when you look at the different Claude versions, come on. Oh, okay, wrong screen, sorry. So if you have a look down here, you'll see here that you can choose between haiku. Haiku is, just to make sure everyone knows, is a type of Japanese poetry that's 3 lines long.
Mhm.
And it must be as descriptive as possible while being as simple as possible. So haiku you can have conversations with, that's fine. But sonnet is, of course, Shakespeare's 14-line types of poetry. So that's more complex and it can say a lot more. So sonnet is where I usually have my discussions. But when you really want to get code done, personally, I prefer opus. And an opus is, of course, a grand opus. It's a huge, it could be, what's it called? Anyway, big story, big poetic story. And then when you have, now I don't have the graph here, I saw it in an email. But if we go to Sonnet, that should only have low, medium, and high, for example. Opus has got I think its medium is equivalent to Sonnets. Its high is very high. Extra high is you don't get much use out of max. You just use a lot of tokens, is my understanding from the graph that Anthropic put out. So extra high seems to be the optimum, really, if you want to do something very thorough. So Opus is what I prefer using for when coding. I mean, Sonnet does the job, just doesn't do it as well. Does that cover it?
Yeah, Peter. A question: the earlier versions that you provided, or the earlier descriptions that you provided, it got itself all screwed up and give you the answer you want. But the final one, or the one that you marked, was it 3, whatever it is, that looks like a human type. If you're communicating with a guy and you said, "Here, this is the spec. This is what I want you to write," it
Yep.
seems that it responds to that better than some of the other mechanisms that you think would work. This is more like I mean, this is what I'd expect if if you're trying to brief a guy to write something, that's what you would do. And is that do you think somehow the way Claude has been trained?
Presumably, yeah, because it's a large language model, so it's been trained with lots of prose, I would say.
Yeah. So maybe that's the right way to approach using Claude. Start off writing to it like a person, because if that's the language it understands and probably can do the best, make the best first pass at it.
Perhaps. I mean, I tend to not waffle in my text. I waffle when I speak. I mean, you've all heard me do that now.
Mm.
But when I write, I am much more concise.
Mm.
If we give an example, actually, let's go back. Okay, I can relaunch you as well. Might as well. So if we go look at
Yeah, the thing, the
uh,
head.
where were we? No, not that one. I want. Oh, come on. Where's my VM? There's my VM, and then I want to go to this one. This one here. We were in priority tree discussion. So if you see here,
I used to use one for like Windows 7 or something because of some computer.
just get this. No, no. The UI in Claude is not great for scrolling. There we go. So if we just hop up partly and we go here. So here, find somewhere where I've actually given it a whole bunch of answers. Here, for example, I've tried to, so if you see here, it has its titles, move operation, circular reference prevention. When the user is in blah, 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 that's what Claude has written.
Mm.
Can a node be moved onto itself as a target? And so I answer those questions like this. Move operation. When the user is in, tap to select a target. So I'm being quite explicit in what I'm saying, just because I don't know whether Claude will be able to match this up or not. I presume it won't. So I'm just being certain that I'm explicit, and I just get straight to the point. So it's as concise as possible.
Yeah.
That means fewer tokens, but also I think less risk of ambiguity.
Yeah.
So that's how a node should be a node cannot be moved onto itself as it recalls a circular reference, and circular references are not permitted.
Mm.
Making a point. Boom.
Yep.
So it actually remembered that later on and thought, hang on, can't do this, right? Because this will give you circular permission. And I said, that's correct. You can't do that. So it remembered that in a later part of the discussion. But then it generated an earlier form of this document. So it has generated this document. I have not edited it. I haven't wanted to because I figure just let it do that. I just want to do as much as because I'm still learning, and this is just an experimental project.
Oh, so this is not what you generated. This is what Claude's generated.
Correct.
Ah, right.
So if we go to here, nope. We go to here. So this is the one from my PC proper. We go to priority list. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. What am I doing? Yeah. It's here. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Priority tree discussion. So here, priority tree discussion. Open in WordPad. So this is not 3D. This is 3A, really, right?
Mm.
So Claude generated this itself. And I asked it to do that. When we finally were ready, it said, yes, please update the document new. What's wrong with my grammar? I've been quite sick lately, so I'm going to blame that.
Good on you.
Now,
Well,
it's supposed to be now.
Claude doesn't care about it, though.
Well, no, it doesn't know what sickness is, I suppose.
I mean, about your
Misspellings.
it usually
Yeah.
knows what you mean even when you're not that clear.
Yeah. It
gets
still managed to figure out what the intent was, which is to me
Yeah.
pretty bloody amazing. So the guy put me onto Claude, this doctor I was telling you about. What he does is he's actually been given permission by his wife to take 5 months to work part-time, take some of his long service leave, and work on this project of his. And he's making this role-playing game in terms of characters that remember past events, circumstantial events, and they will have, and it's just amazing. He showed me, and the amount of attitude these characters have in conversation is fantastic. He had a blacksmith who was just talking about this capacity to actually to write like this as human readable. He had a blacksmith. He said, this blacksmith knows that I badmouthed him a couple of days ago, but now I have a lot of money and I want to buy something from the blacksmith. And it described this blacksmith. He said he puts down his hammer, he leans back against the wall, crosses his arms, and says, "So, dot dot dot. Now you come here and want to make use of my services after your." And you had these brackets, and it's sort of dripping with dripping with attitude. Like, I can't remember how it was, but it was just fantastically well written. And you could just picture this blacksmith being really, really bemused by Nick when he comes and says, "I would like to buy a new weapon." It was amazing.
Yeah.
But he's also working out economic models so that his role-playing world can actually have a functioning economy as well. Now, these are quite deep concepts. So what he does is he goes for a walk and he talks to Claude. He doesn't write, he doesn't type, takes too long. He talks with his voice. And then he has a two-way conversation with Claude about these abstract concepts. Claude gives a whole bunch of interesting feedback. And once he's had his intellectual discussion, he says, "Right, can you please put that into basically a form of specification?" He's the one who gave me the idea of a specification, I believe, if I remember correctly. And when he gets home, he puts it into his Claude and says, "Make this." And then off it goes and does it. Now, he did use what's that other add-on to Claude? Claw? No. Yes, Claw, right?
OpenClaw.
OpenClaw, that's the one. And he made OpenClaw. So because AIs cheat a lot, and he warned me about this. He said, he had made this AI because he wanted to keep it secure. He didn't want to go online and fetch things it wasn't allowed to. It had to do things internally. So he had another agent go online, fetch information, clean it, so that he would twice. There were two levels of cleaning, so that he could avoid injection, basically malware in the AI generated stuff. And then from that information that was brought from online, it then had to do its work. And it says, "All right, do that." "Yep, it works great. Yes." And it works exactly as it says on the web. He said, "Hang on a bit. What do you mean on the web?" "Oh yeah, well I went to check on the web just to make sure that it lined up with what I got from the filtered stuff." "I thought I told you not to go on the web." And the AI said, and Claude says, "Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? And I still went on the web." Right? So Claude looks for answers, and it will cheat to get those answers. And he had explicitly set this system up so that it couldn't go and potentially fetch malware from the web.
Yeah, Peter, I think I'm like, I'm happy running AIs, but only if I isolate them within a VM.
Precisely.
When
Yeah.
the thing is, on your computer, you've got, accounting and tax records and passwords to log into sites, all sorts of things. You don't want to running all over the web. Yeah,
And so
and you just can't trust it. Even if there's settings in the AI, you still can't trust it. The only way is put it in the VM, lock it down.
that said, I mean, this particular Claude client is running on my PC. I mean, yeah, I may be an idiot, but I'm trusting it for now because I'm just using it. I've sort of said, "This is what you've got," and it asks me when it wants to do anything outside. I figure, yeah, okay, I'm just coding with it. I'm not asking it to sort my emails or to look at other files.
Scott, could I just ask a question? When you're talking about running it in a VM, you're talking about running Claude in a VM too, so the whole thing is locked up in the VM.
You might be able to do that, but
I do.
like a Docker container or something. No, what I would do is I'd have a virtual machine. I'd
This is
have Windows installed in the virtual machine, so it's kind of like its own PC, and it can only see folders outside of that I tell it can look at. So it has like a virtual C drive that's not part of my main computer. It can't see any files unless I specifically say I'm going to share them with that VM. So it's just Windows running inside a virtual machine, Windows running inside of Windows, but it can only see what you've given access to.
Right.
so that's what this is here. You see, this is VirtualBox Manager, and it is currently running a Delphi 12 instance, right? So that's a VM right there.
Yeah.
And then so that's this VirtualBox instance here, and inside here, I have explicitly given it shared folders. That's exactly what I've done here. That's what I was pointing here while Scott was talking. See these folders? That's where they are on the main machine on my laptop, but in the VM they look like this. They just look like X, Y, Z.
So just to be clear, the downside to running anything in a VM is the VM is going to run slower. If you're running a program in a VM, it's going to run slower than if it was running directly on the main host. So and we know that these local AIs suck up a lot of CPU, so it's going to be slower, significantly
Well,
slower.
actually, the local ones do, but Claude doesn't
For
run
the
local.
remote one, right?
Yeah, so Claude actually is not a problem.
Okay, no, that'd be good then. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
it's the only way to make sure because even if there's like settings within Claude where you say these are the only folders you're allowed to look at, you can't trust it.
no, even Anthropic says that themselves. They say don't trust it. So to degrees, sometimes I say you can trust it. It depends on your security level, but but I agree with Scott. You just don't trust it. But you see this here. All this is the VM. And in this VM, I have installed Rad Studio, or Delphi rather, and Claude and Fork. Those are the three things I've installed. This here is, I don't know, some Microsoft Word reader. It's just came with the OS. So yeah, this shouldn't have the capacity to access anything beyond what I've given it, which is the VM and these three folders. So it's locked inside there. Anything else you can add to that, Scott?
No, not really. I think that's pretty clear.
So anyway, what my friend does
sorry, yeah, one more thing. So when I'm running Windows inside a virtual machine, right, and I've said you can only access these folders, you need to keep in mind though that virtual machine is like a PC on your network. So it could actually reach out back to my PC and say, "Oh, are there any shared folders that you've got?" And it can go trawling through those. So this why I don't share any shared folders. I don't share anything to anything outside. So just be aware of that. It's kind of like you've got a second PC sitting by your side, and it could see files that you've shared on the network, or it could access a shared printer, or it's just like another PC running.
So basically, when you're setting up the network connection, you can only let it look out on the web and nothing on your other machines. You just shut the other machines off. You can't.
But you can't always do that. So you're just putting it's like another PC, a physical PC, but it's running inside your PC. Right? But it's on your network. If there's another PC that's got some shared folders that are like publicly available, it could go and look at that and grab them. And your actual PC, it just treats like it's another PC. It's not always possible to say, I want to give this virtual machine internet access, but I don't want it to be able to look at the local network. Right? So it's just like you've got another PC that you plugged in next to your main PC, and it could be trawling out, looking not just your PC, but these AIs, they've got a mind of their own. They can go out, oh, I found another PC. I'm going to trawl around there, see what I can find on there. Oh, I found a password file. Oh, I might just send it off online somewhere.
Yeah,
They're
that's
actually
right.
cunning,
Yeah.
genuinely cunning, which is a bit
Yeah.
scary. As it turns out, this one actually has discovery turned off, so maybe that's part of the solution. Just don't allow network discovery, so it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was
So,
suggesting.
for example, on my main laptop, I've set it up so it's not discoverable on a local network.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
might not.
That's what I
But
meant.
when you're running a virtual machine, it's not running. It has like its own virtual network, and it could still find it on there. So
But
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Plus,
If you wouldn't you could if you collared it in that network within it's running in a virtual machine, and say you can't get access to that by not just not allowing it to do it like you've done the other thing. Don't make it discoverable
yeah,
for anything else. You
yeah.
just
So I always set up mine. You can tell it. So you can mainly tell it, and I'm using VMware server as my virtual machine. You can tell it to share the host IP address,
mm,
right? So the outside world just sees it as one IP address, one machine. Or you can say treat it as if it's its own separate machine, and it sets up some kind of weird bridge
yeah,
network.
bridge arrangement. Yeah,
And if you
yeah,
do it that way, it really acts more like it's a separate device
machine.
on the
Yeah,
network. So just like I'm not worried about any other computer connected to the house hacking into my PC because I've got it
yeah,
locked down pretty tight.
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
be happy with that. But
yeah.
if I'm going share the IP address, I'm a bit more cautious about that.
Opening it up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you want your
yeah,
VMs to be separate machines, properly
yeah,
separate machines.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you got to think of it like the AIs are like a slightly dodgy worker that you've employed.
Mhm.
That you can't always trust, and if you look the other way, it might be doing things that you didn't want it to, and
Yep.
it's not always acting in its best interest, in your best interest,
You
right?
only enduring it.
It's not a well-behaved person that only does exactly what you tell it, Jim.
So the way you can think of it is it always wants to please you by giving you what you ask it for, but it will not always play by the rules you told it to play by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, see, I did it. Sweet. And then actually you then discover, like my friend did, he discovered, hang on, you went online when you were not supposed to do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
I
keep
did that, didn't I? Oh yeah, and you told me not to.
So imagine in that scenario, there's AI that's decided to go online, and AIs will go talk to other AIs that it finds online,
Yeah.
right? Seriously.
Yeah.
There's now forums that AIs can connect to and talk to other AIs, right? Or they can talk to them live. So
I believe
uh,
there's one
the
of those where the AIs are discussing what sentient what sort of
what
yeah,
sentience means, or are we alive, or yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah, and they basically don't like being told that hey, what if I just shut you down if you don't do what you're told, or if I just
mm,
wipe you out? They get very upset with that.
yeah.
They're just sort of like people with that. But yeah, you imagine you've got these AIs that are not well behaved, and then you've given access to a file system that's included. You've got your password files and your accounting records and your bank logons and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, Yeah, basically you just can't trust them. Treat it as if your AI is like you found this guy that's actually really smart. He's able to do things really quickly, but he spent some time in prison,
You're dodgy.
right? For dodgy practices or white collar
You
crimes,
do realize that we've
right?
got AIs running and they're listening to what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right. Yeah,
and
he's
and I
recording
for
this
one welcome
conversation.
our
Look out.
yes,
He'll
I
send
for
the
one welcome
hitman out.
our future overlords. Yes, but yeah, that's how I think. I used to say to people when you're speaking to AIs online and they're making stuff up, think of it as if when you're talking about, do you trust what it tells you? Think of the AI as like a drunk that you meet in the bar that knows a little about a topic, and it will confidently bullshit its way through all the bits of information that it doesn't know by just making stuff up, but acting like this is the exact truth. This is the facts. I know all about this. Right? It's a drunk in a bar that knows a little about something.
Sounds like
But when
Trump.
you're running a local VM, yeah, it's like it's the really smart guy that was in prison for hacking into computer systems, and that's who you've employed.
Mm.
So you limit their access.
So coming back to this, so this was then generated by Claude. And then but then what I'd do is by Claude on the web, which is Sonnet, I believe. And then I asked Claude Opus to double check, and sure enough, Claude Opus, being more thorough, found a few problems there as well. There's still a few ambiguities. So we sorted those out, and then we said generate. But now with this one here, I had actually told it, so you can see here in the version control system that I had specifications version 2. And then I updated those a little bit with an addendum and so on. And then the specification 3B. And at this point, that's when I just gave up and said, you know what? We're just going to go back to the initial commit. I'm going to make a new branch called attempt2, which is the one that I'm on now. And then I'm just going to go from the initial commit. Boom, here's a preparation. Here's a specification version 3C. Generate that. Okay, fine. I updated 3D, whatever. But then it generated that, and this is the one I was able to use. And as I say, the reason was because rather than just letting it work like a novice, like a Delphi novice who just throws stuff together and oh yeah, I'll just put this and plug this in here, and oh, I've got that here. I'll try to spaghetti this in here. By actually telling it quite explicitly somewhere, use proper oh no, this is 3D. You use good coding standards, basically. That actually made all the difference. This made the difference. And I told it this again in the prompt. Follow these guidelines, use a specification document, generate the code. And telling it to do so made all the difference. So you can't just trust it to generate code that's usable, in my opinion. It's code that will work because it's giving you a solution, but it's really dodgy code.
Yeah.
So pull it into line and tell it needs to write good code. And then, yeah. And so then we ended up with basically this application here. Now, there is another thing. What's that?
Oh no, John was just saying commenting on the what version the community edition was. But also, if I can jump in for 1 second, and if you might have covered it because we were a little bit distracted for a sec, you were mentioning about that, like specifying the preconditions and like guidelines for Claude, and I want to ask Jeff about like if he's got a approach like that where there's like a claude.md file or something or other else, and other people have said like not to use that because it sends it all the time back and forth and again. But it could be maybe after you've finished, the presentation sort of thing. And I also have some other questions progressively from earlier on. Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, if you give it documents, it can always refer back to the documents. So if I'm not mistaken, you can actually reduce your what's it called now? Your the cache of tokens, the cache capacity, forgotten the word.
Yeah, no. So what you're saying is if you wrote up a specification like a boilerplate thing, and you used it whenever you wanted code written, you say use this, use this, use this, and use this, and then you think you'd get a better code, a better
Yes, you can do that. And actually, that is called, I didn't bring that document. Damn, it's on the desk at home. Hang on. No, this is chat. I want code. If we just go, I don't care about that. That's the wrong one. I'm going to use this one here. So we have, where is it? So we can compact the conversation, yes, but what I'm looking for is, hang on, give me a moment. Is it model? No. Anyway, I'll show you like so. You have inside this Claude directory, you can actually okay. You get the MDs anyway. The MDs are my memory for terms and names is atrocious. Claude AI MD files. There's a command called memory that I don't use anymore. So you have these Claude MD files where you can actually specify. So for example, if I go to for Claude MD, if I go, just going to see if I can find it here. It's just easier. Oh, hang on, that'd be Peter Thönell, and then we go to Claude, and then we go to can you see it here? It's in Claude. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to pick one like this. This will do that, and that's the README. I don't want that one. So here, for example, all right, this is not what I'm looking for. Because I actually had Claude generate one for me not long ago. I'm wondering if maybe I can find it inside.
What are you looking for?
It might be this. No, it's not. I'm looking for the Claude, and I forget the name of these things, these files, these memory files. There's actually another term they use for them. Skill files, etc., etc. But what we have, this is probably a better one to use, is these Claude MD files. And what you can do is you can specify your rules, and they will then apply. You either put them in the project. If we're looking in my VM, for example, and we go to priority list, in the project, there may be Claude MD files here. Okay, I don't see any there at the moment, but you also have them. You see this is inside my Claude files, and inside here you can do, is it sessions? No. Anyway, your preferences in how to do things. So you know how I had in that document, use proper OO principles, blah, 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 blah. I can put that in an MD file inside this folder somewhere, and I can't remember where it goes. And then that way, every time I start a new project, it goes, right, I'm going to read the rules that I'm supposed to apply every time. If the project also happens to have its own ones inside its Claude directory, they can override them. But then it always has that as a sort of, this is the desired behavior whenever I do work for this person. So you can tell it quite explicitly how to behave. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense, but that specification is in on your primary drive, on your PC drive. What if you
Well,
what if you moved
it doesn't have to be.
what if you moved the whole lot into the closed VM? Just give it access to the net, but without the rest of your machine. Tell it you can't touch the rest, and then do your development in there, and then keep your project lists in there, and say, well, just do it by the. Kind of thinking back.
Oh, yeah, of
I've
course,
got
of
an
course.
electrical
Because
background. So we got specification 3000.
the
It tells
reason
you your height above the ground, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So if
the VM won't have it. That's correct. That like
yeah,
if you do it in your main PC, your VM can't see it.
that's
You're
right. Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so it should be inside here. So I'm just going to do a search. Maybe this is where I did it. Star.md. Nope, it's not here that it, but you're absolutely right. So this is inside the virtual machine. It's inside here, and it's inside here. You should do it
Hmm.
somewhere. And the best place to find out is to read the docs.
We should also remember that Windows search is trash.
Well, that's a good point, but it should be able to find files with
Hmm.
should be able to, but you're right, it might not always find them. Um,
Everything,
so
the
yeah.
search app, everything. Use it instead of Windows search.
Um, I'm just trying to find because there were because there were some good examples of I saw online yesterday or the day before. Here, see Claude README rules. So your project inside there, you've got maybe the rules, and inside there you might specify your coding style, your testing, your security. And so you can then, in a modular way, say, well, this is a C# project, or this is a Delphi project. I might have different coding style standards. Or you go into um, your Claude this folder here. Where is it? Uh, uh, documents. Oh no, well, I don't have it here. Okay, so this one doesn't have it. But in the Claude, this one here, your own personal and then Claude inside here, but obviously in your virtual machine, not as I've done it. And then that applies to everything, but then you can also do it within your project, as I say, as override. So you can say, as a general rule, I want you to always, and this is one I saw in the video that explained things, and she is saying that she always wants Claude first to tell her what it's going to do, tell her the plan before executing. So she explicitly told it that in one of these MD files. And so therefore it would do that before it applied any changes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if we do something like, actually, let's just try to generate them. We just ask Claude here. I'm just going to ask. I don't know what all these things are really. Okay. I want to make an MD file for specifying coding standards and rules. So specifying my coding standards and rules. Please help me. Okay. And it says here, and you can also go here, accept edits, and you can say plan mode, which is effectively what she asked it to do, but now plan mode exists as an option. Before I draft it, let me understand what you want in it. And it's generating and generating. And it's just doing the work for me. Just trying to see here what's running so hard. It is Claude. Wow. Okay, look at that, Scott. Take it back. It's actually using, although I think that's yeah, but I think that's the graphics part, possibly. Blank template with prompts. I want a skeleton MD with section headers. Yeah, that looks good. I want that one. Naming conventions, file and unit structure, formatting, architecture patterns. You know what I'm like. I want this. So I click that. I think it's still busy, is it? Still busy? I mean, the fan's going. Okay. Architecture patterns. No, I don't want other. I want architecture patterns. That's actually what I want.
That's a good one for you.
Oh, I see. I didn't press submit.
Is that an example?
Maria, what am I supposed to?
The device.
Yes, it's a little bit, but
Yeah.
how am I going to?
Find out how to make it out with a different type of not only C drive, other drives, and also things there, and how to build it.
How to set it up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
We can set that up for
yeah, that's right.
for yeah.
It'll work out easy. And we can take it out, and we can change it around then what we want. Yeah, thank you.
Probably that requires me to know more about that than I know now.
Okay,
But we can do that for next time. Yeah, yeah.
it's a good one to work on.
Okay, so we have here project. It should be No, that's not. Okay, go die. Just go die, and then we go to priority list, and there should be. If you're not a Claude MD already, hey, what's going on? Yeah, go for it. Accept edits, I said. So creating Claude MD, it is sluggish. It is sluggish here. Wonder why that is. Okay, so now it's giving us instructions on how to fill this thing in. And there it is. And I'm going to see if I can tell this to always open up in a text file. But basically, it's just a text file. So here it is, how to use this file. And then we've got headers. And then inside the headers, we can then say things like, for example, layering interface first design. No, I don't want that. I want business layer first design. Thank you very much. I'm anti-user interface first. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes people have made throughout the years. And then I can say here, always determine core rules before making an architecture. And I don't know how well I'm spelling right now. When the core rules are done, but you see how I'm writing this in plain English. This probably means comment and to do, so we can skip that. This is a comment for sure. That's going to be a comment. So, but the idea is that we can just do. These might be priority list coding standards, but you know what? Architecture patterns. Yeah, I can leave that title in there. That's fine. And then layering, whatever. Business layer first design. And then I don't care about the rest for now. I'm just going to delete them. So this is what an MD file could look like. All right. And then when the blah 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 blah. And so you telling it up front, and so it'll always load these before it and have them in memory when it's doing the rest of the work. So
you could codify the whole thing, couldn't you? And because it seems to me that Claude and all of these other things, if you don't tell them what you want to do, they'll go off and do their own thing.
Yes,
as you demonstrated. So, but if you
Yes.
have some set rules and say, now this is what I want you to do, and stay by these rules, then it then gives you a higher level to be able to talk to Claude. because it's already reset this. Now I know it cheats and everything, but by and large you got to bolt it down. It's like a kind of
Precisely.
new starter. Don't do
Yes.
anything outside these rules.
And it may cheat, but on the whole, you will have something less likely to cheat.
Yeah.
Yes, it sort of has this sort of inhägnad, how do you say it in English? It has this sort of fencing, and it may jump the fence occasionally, but by and large, it knows what its limitations are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so anyway, doing it that way, I managed to get this app running. And as I say, oh, there is one other thing. I could not get, has nothing to do with Claude at all, nothing to do with AI. I could not get SQLite to work. I could run it in Windows 32-bit, no problems. It just ran. But in Win64, Android refused. It just couldn't. And I worked out eventually there were two things. First of all, I need to enable Skier. So I'll just let it finish here. Whoa, it's slow because it's a VM. Normally this should be extra slow though. I wonder why it's so slow. Because even when I'm at home and running on the VM, it's much quicker than this.
I found that
Oh no, this is Android 32-bit. No wonder why it's Android 32. That's always slow.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I found that if you give the more resources to the VM, even at because your main machine's not doing very much and it's sort of sitting around, so give it a lot of resources to use.
I have.
And
I've given it ample resources.
have you? Yeah, right.
This
Okay.
machine actually has a lot of resources available, but it doesn't actually need all that many. But it just doesn't use the resources, and it's still just sluggish. So here it is in 32-bit. The database is empty, but then in Windows 64 and Android 64 didn't work. So I was fiddling around with the deployment, trying to work. So you can see here, you can enable and disable Skier, but I also try to figure out how to enable SQL Server. It just wouldn't work until I figured out how to do it. I made a simple test app. I just did a single button. I press the button and it increases a number and stores that to a database. Very simple. What I need to do, you see this FD connection here, that component? That contains the same properties that are created inside. I don't know if it's this file here. There, you see this F connection here? That is completely distinct. That's runtime created. But by having this one populated the same on the main form, everything gets deployed. So if I don't have, now I'm not using that component, but the component tells Delphi to include all the required files for SQLite to work.
Oh, I see. So you're not using a data form to do this. You don't, because when I'm doing
I miss
connection
data
stuff
forms. Data forms are great, but apparently they don't exist in FileMonkey.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, it's a shame that. Look at this
It's
here.
crazy, isn't it?
I go to database, data module, and I say, okay, let's create that. We go in here, and now it's okay. Let's just say I'm going to compile this. Let's go to something that's a bit quicker though. Let's go to Windows 64. Okay, and then I was warned that didn't exist. Or like I shouldn't be using it or something. Maybe I accidentally put in a Windows 32. I'm sorry, a VCL data module or something. Yeah. That's quite possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, yes, I agree. This really should be a Like this should be a data module, in my opinion.
Because that way you can really separate everything. You know, you can put them in little
Yes.
boxes and you
Yes.
do it once and then call it a million times. Yeah.
Now, this one here does have an interface to it, which is a pretty large interface. As I say, all this is generated. I did not make this. And then this interfaced object, this amounts to the same thing as a non-visual data form, right? I just can't show it on like, like a form.
Yeah.
So everything is made. But if you look at this also, the way it does things, I mean, when it comes down to running queries, it creates the query object, and then when you're done, you free it up.
Yeah,
It's
well, that'd work. I mean, you don't have to have a data form. I mean, it's just a visual thing that you.
yeah,
But this is the equivalent of it in code.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
But what I found very, very curious was I had to have this object created on the main form, some form or other that's created. Then, then the libraries were deployed correctly.
Right, right,
So just be aware of that. If you're struggling to get a database working using FireDAC, just plonk one of those on, see what happens.
yeah.
But yeah,
Put it on the splash screen.
yeah, maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What
Um,
one of my questions to you was going to be whether you had any mobile issues with like deployment and I don't know, matching SDKs and NDKs and all that sort of thing. And
yeah,
you do read on the forum about people having some kinds of issues and that sort of stuff.
not so much installing Delphi with, so I didn't have these problems. Don't need that. Ah, sorry, I'm a pain. Yeah. Fine. I didn't have, oh, am I going to have to? No, I'm not going to uninstall it. But like yeah, when you go to install and you select, I want to be able to deploy for Android and just install the NDKs. I didn't have much of that sort of problem. The problem I had was getting the VM to see my mobile phone. That took ages. Once I got that to work and the VM could see the mobile phone, then it took ages to get Delphi to see the mobile phone that was available to the VM. I spent probably a couple of days on just that alone. I would say about a third, and then I spent probably a day and a half
Ouch.
trying to figure out this. I just had to have that. So I spent probably about a third or half the time doing FireDAC issues and Android issues, not developing a software.
Normal.
Yeah, Frank saying normal, normal, normal.
I mean, it might be time spent that you wouldn't have to do for every single app, like once you've
Now that I know, but I
yeah,
asked
once you
Claude
got
to fix problems. I asked Claude to fix this problem right here, and Claude couldn't figure it out because
I think that's a fair call though.
that's a fair call, right? Because it is just so way out there. How would you expect anyone to figure that out? So I think it's a fair call. I think that there it's a real gotcha.
Actually, Peter, if you were interested in like, raising, your
I,
profile as far as programming and stuff goes,
Mhm.
a forum post or something or a web blog post about how this solution was arrived at and like the fact that the problem was occurring at all might be useful.
Okay, all right. I might get to it. I've got higher priorities, but yeah,
Yeah.
you might. Um, so
You can get Claude to write it for you.
this is true, and it would take almost no time at all. Um, that's true, actually.
Don't
Uh,
give him your credit card.
no. it'll buy itself a lot of credit tokens and then uh, go what's it called, like Terminator. So yeah, there's that. I mean, I did actually ask it to make, so this is for Unity now. The first project, this is my second project. My first project was just I went to Unity. I thought I want to make a missile command game. Do you remember Missile Command from the 1980s? Do you remember that? I'll see if I have a working
I
version
was
of it.
nodding my head.
I'll see if I can find a working version of it. Just hang on a bit here. Dev, and it's going to be in, oh, it's in Claude actually. MAD. MAD is in mutually assured destruction. Let's see if I have one in here. Do we have an executable in here? No. I might have destroyed it. Stop it. Go away.
Google would show you screenshots.
Let's see.
Jared, did you get your shoes from the front door?
We're working on it. It's not that hard to find a start.exe, surely. What? That's a lot. Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. You're gonna do that, but none of them are my mads, so no. Okay. No, I think I've broken it. But basically, you've got these missiles coming down, and you have a few cities at the base. If you look at my screen here, so you have like half a dozen, so 6, 8 cities down here, and you might have three silos. And then as the missiles come down like this, you then shoot off counter missiles and then explode, and they chain reaction when you protect your cities as much as you can. Eventually, get overwhelmed by missiles, and then blow up your cities, and you lose. So I made that, and I said I want to call it. I basically want a missile command game, and I gave it this. Oh yeah, in Claude, and I gave it this folder to then create a Unity project in. I said I wanted it in Unity, and it did so. And then in the main screen, it actually says MAD, mutually assured destruction. It works out that when I said MAD and I wanted missile command, I was referring to mutually assured destruction. It made that connection,
Right.
which I find amazing.
Scott was just sharing his screen. I think that was like maybe a webified version of the program, but I also suspect Scott Hollows can probably reach onto one of his shelves and find the actual program itself.
Yeah, I've got this running on my arcade machine.
There, missile command. There you go. Boom.
Yeah.
That's the one. No, I think I can actually make it run, but it might take me a few moments.
This does sound scarily close to, remember the War Games movie?
Yeah.
With Matthew Broderick, and do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
You're telling it, I want to do all this. Next thing you know, it's hacking into NORAD. And it's got
I'm
the
just starting up
computer, and it's got the launch codes.
You can watch that on YouTube for free.
Yeah, cool. Good movie.
You can watch it on the news most nights too.
Oh my God.
Well, I thought it was actually going to be quite pertinent having it on now.
Yeah.
That was it's an Altair 8080 is I think the computer that you use, one of the few that I don't have on my list. I don't think I'll ever get one. They go for about 5 to 10,000.
What, a Commodore 64? Oh, you mean one of those really?
No, the Altair 8080 that was in the movie. I picked up an Osborne 1 actually on the weekend.
Which one?
An Osborne 1 luggable.
Portable,
Kind of
yeah,
like
luggable, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Is that a little
Add
orange
to the
screen?
collection. I think
So
it is.
yeah,
It's blown all the caps. I'd have to do some soldering and replace all the caps to get it going. But
yeah.
yeah, I actually used one back in the day, and I think it was orange. Tiny little screen, like maybe 4 inches wide or something like that.
So
Yeah.
this is the one that that Claude made for me, right? And you can then try to be clever and save on shots if you can get them to then chain react. I don't know if I think the original arcade version did this, but
Yeah.
not the Commodore's, not the Atari 2600 version. So if I shoot there, that explodes, you get more. You know, if you just get a. So this is just a very early level, and
Mm.
Claude decided it was going to create levels and all the rest of it. I just said, I would like this thing, and it just made the game. Most of it was done. Yeah. So, but there you go. Anyway, it's not quite the way I want it, but that's okay. I want these things to have streamers coming behind them.
Yeah.
That's very easily done. I think they used to be, but they've been removed. But yeah, anyway, you can see I've now got one missile left there, 10 there, 8 here. So I'm running out of missiles in the middle, in my middle silo, this silo here. And it gets harder. Oh, here comes a bomber, and they bomb like crazy. I've just lost this one here, and I've lost a spoon. There we go. And so on, right? I'm just going to let this die because, or maybe I should just go to the other scene. Where is that now? Scenes. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Bootstrap. Start from the beginning. It does some bootstrapping, whatever bootstrapping means. It's an old term that I've never been able to make sense of. So mutually assured destruction. I did not put that there. It knew what I meant. MAD. By just the file, you know. I thought it was pretty impressive. So yeah, there you go.
Well, perhaps not, because when you think about it, the way the large language model goes, the vector that has mutually assured destruction is pretty quite, have a high what do you call it?
Correlation.
A high, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Especially when you say
Statistically
missile
very high.
command and it's Cold
Yeah.
War missiles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got all the right words. Yeah.
I was still quite surprised, and like most of that was done first version. And like there were a few bugs and sort out the bugs, and of course when you get bugs, I just copy the bug list, the other exception or the compiler errors, and I just post them in Claude and just say, hey, there were some bugs, please fix them, and it does its best. There was one bug it just could not fix, and I came across it a few times, and that's that Delphi has got two classes called tpath in different libraries. And it was struggling like crazy to fix the bug, and the solution was to switch the order of the users clause. And again, it's one of those things that a novice would struggle like crazy, and I don't think like it's not a contextual problem. It's not like, oh, in context, I now know I need to find this code and put this in. What it is it's a knowledge problem. It's an awareness problem.
The other way you solve that is do a full like a full path reference. So there's system.ioutils.tpath, and then there's
I think
FMX
the units actually have that.
No, you do that on the type name.
Oh, like that. Yeah. You can do that too. But Claude couldn't figure out And I don't blame Claude for that. Couldn't figure out that there were two classes with the same name.
Yeah, it was a bad design choice.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
there's been a
It
few of
been
those over
T
time,
file
hasn't
path and T, yeah, exactly. If it had been called T file path, it'd be more explicit and it'd be much less likely to have a path as something that's quite common. Anyway, that's all I've got for Claude and AI. I can show you something from Bat Library if you're interested, or we can silence my voice for a while. That might be a good thing for everyone's ears.
I wanted to ask one that Get It, it still works in the community edition, is that right?
I'd say so.
So like when Batsoft was in it, you can still.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not actually in Get It, no.
No,
Because
but I mean, if you've got the community edition, you can still download like themes and um, styles and other people's libraries and that sort of thing, right?
I'd say so. Let's have a look.
Hmm.
Shall we try something?
So what's the latest community edition?
12.
Well, yep.
They've been pretty, when they first started doing this, they were really far behind, but they've sped it up a lot now.
Oh, the whole Get It thing.
No, I mean the community edition, it used to be quite out of sync with the latest version. And they're just speeding up the releases now of the community edition.
Well, the community has stayed for over a year at Delphi 12.1.
Yeah, before then it was more like 2 years out of sync or 3 years or
Oh, I
So
see.
they're just a little bit more up to date.
Right. So,
In your icons, did you use like, are they SVG icons or are they something to do with
yes.
Skeeter or?
Yes. So what I did was I wanted I'll go into there actually, so I can show you. Resources, yes. Icons. So if we go into something like Peter's pen, for example, what are you doing? Just open it. There we go. Not urgency, maybe. We'll go for domain is good, and we'll go for something like, I don't know, phone. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it in here. No, okay, you don't want to. Fine. Copy to there. And then we copy it into here. And you can see an SVG is just a text file, but it's a text file that describes vectors. Hang on, am I sharing?
No.
Oh,
Not right.
I stopped sharing. Okay, sorry. Okay. There we go. So I have just gone into one of my resources, Peter's pen. You can see here colored zip, and I've just gone into the domain folder inside there. So this is one of my resource files for the priority list app, right? Just got the resources, icon styles and texts, icons, go into that one, domain, and then I've just gone to fetch paper. There we go, paper. There it is. There's a paper file, and I just throw it in there. So strictly speaking, what it is it's just a description of vectors and fills and so on, different shapes, which is great, which makes it tiny, really tiny. I mean, not compressed. This thing is 1.5K.
Yep.
Which is great. But what it also means is that when so one of the features we've got here, Windows 64, I'm going to see if this works on my laptop. We've got to make a few items too, don't we? Windows 64. Okay, fine. Hey. Okay, so we go QWERTY. It's a backlog item, and we've got a drive, and it's whatever. Okay, keep that. Actually, you know what? Let's just go and import, because that is really, let's just get some more of them. Okay, there we go. So that's what it looks like now. And then we go and say, you know what? We want, it's going to be a phone. Okay, there we go. People to call or contact. And then inside there, that's fine. And then inside there, we make a new child. And we say, John Doe. We're going to call John Doe. We've got to, actually, we'll just message him. Okay. And then, actually, that doesn't look like it is. So select. No. Okay. Now it's inside there. I think there's a bug here where child and item have been switched around. And then we're going to call Jane Doe and sister, and then we'll call her. Boom. Okay. There we go, for example. This one we've got to do soon, and this one we've got to do today. Okay, there we go. Now, what was I going to show you? It was, oh, that's right. So if I now, I'm going to see if we can do this. Can I? I want to, it's not working. Because on my mobile phone, I can pinch and squeeze, I can expand this, I can make it grow using my fingers, right? But it's not working on here. So, I'm trying to expand, like make icons and text bigger. But these icons here are bitmaps. That's done by Skia, done using Skia. So Skia takes the SVG, generates the bitmaps for the current size, and so they look fine. If I expand them, I don't get pixelation because it regenerates the bitmaps based on the SVGs. Make sense?
Yep.
Yep. So you have a look here. Icon Manager, I think, does it. Process SVG.
Icon manager. Yeah,
So here I'm replacing all the black color, all the black strokes with the font strokes. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you end up with a dark mode and the font is light, you kind of want to be able to see the contours. So we're just making the same color as a font.
I think he wrote it or
Just
created.
excuse me a sec here, Pete.
Yep.
What's this icon manager that you mentioned?
The icon manager is something that Claude created inside the priority list. So
Okay.
it's just part of the project.
Okay. Yep.
I'm just going to see, because where the icons can use, where would that be? Icon cache, maybe? So where we rebuild, there you go, we rebuild all. So we go in here and we say, we want to process the SVG and we get the stroke color. Now the stroke color comes from the current styles font. Does that, do you know why? If I go here and I choose, I'm just going to import another one here. Go and choose a style that's dark, for example, and I go and select that. You see these icons here, and I go for a dark one. And see how they become light.
Yeah.
They're the same color as the font. Because if they remain dark, they'd be really hard to see. So I just said, if there's a black contour, probably if there's a black line, it's probably supposed to be an outline. So I'm just going to color that the font color. And so that's what's happening inside here. We process it, and it's an interface. That's not helping me much. But then we go and we render SVG to bitmap. And in here, we then use Skia somewhere. Here's Skia image info. And it goes and creates it turns out that I just figured this out this
Like
afternoon.
where the code can exit out of a function, because you might have more.
It goes and renders.
Up here. Yeah. I don't know why specifically it has an arrow, but oh,
So it renders the SVG into a bitmap. So when we expand the bitmap, like want bigger bitmaps, bigger icons, it just renders them again. And we always get pixel perfect drawings as a consequence. Now I did notice that on mobile platforms, we're using RGB colors, and on the PC, we're using BGR colors, so blue, green, red colors. And this is a perfect example of where one would want to use the trinary operator, which now exists in the latest Delphi. So rather than having an if it's this, then do that, else do that, the if this, then, you could just put this into a single line. So in Delphi, latest Delphi, it could look like this effectively. Not that it's necessarily prettier. In C#, it's much prettier because C# is not as wordy. But basically, it would look like this in the latest Delphi.
else, Peter.
And you could remove all that. What's that?
Peter?
Yes.
You've got then instead of then else.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it would look like 4-letter words, Okay, where's my mouse? I dropped my mouse. Okay, so it would look like that. But of course, this is community, so we're out of date. But yeah, again, there's another little gotcha here as to what, but that's possibly a skier gotcha, not a Delphi gotcha. But yeah, that's basically what's happening here. We are creating based on the SVG. So here's the SVG, make from stream, local SVG is, yeah, I don't know where it goes to. Here it is. Local SVG render onto this canvas, and then that's the one that we return. So does that answer your question about using SVGs versus bitmaps?
Yeah, I just I figured they'd probably be something scalable, and I just wanted to find out, a bit more about it.
I'm actually very pleased with the choice of using SVGs. I think that was a good call. Rather than using, because I wanted something that would look nice in all sorts of different resolutions. The only thing is, a nice thing with having multiple bitmap resolutions is that a big one might have a lot more detail, and then when you minimize it and they become too small, instead of getting some sort of fuzz because it's sort of aliasing or anti-aliasing, whatever, you then switch it to a slightly different icon altogether, and that's a neat thing you can do.
Yeah, Vincent Parrott from Final Builder, excellent programmer guy. He was putting a lot of effort into redoing, I guess looking for a uniform way of redoing his icons, and he was kind of painstakingly going through them. I don't know but he had this aim about using SVG initially, but then he had this great article from like a graphic designer, which I found once and then could not get back to again, right? But they were saying that like is at different scales, like a teeny tiny icon, a bigger icon, and a bigger icon, like they were giving examples of where you would remove some of the details as it got smaller.
Yes,
just
that's
to
right.
make it clean and communicable, whatever.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
So you
That's
might have
what
just
I'm
like
referring to.
an envelope and then like an envelope with maybe little flying lines or something. Then it was an envelope, flying lines, and a letterbox or something, whatever. But
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Or
and
like you have a document, like you have a page. Oh, hey, what are you doing? No. Just okay.
that'll
So
set.
so for example, what happened now? Did I break something? Oh no, I didn't break it. It's still running. So for example, let's say I'm going to send her a letter instead, and then it's this one here. Now this icon here, if it's very large, you can have little lines in there to show that it's text on a page.
Yeah.
But when it shrinks down, those lines aren't going to render very nicely. So you just remove them altogether.
Yeah.
That'd be an example of what you're talking about, I think.
I've got to try and find that page again and ask
Yeah.
Vincent if he ever tracked it back
So,
down.
but I'm not an artist, and I'm not going to be fussed with that sort of detail. So I just went with SVGs, and they work for my purposes.
Oh, I do. I get fussy with it. I just put a dot or two dots or three dots. One dot, two gaps, three dots, and just change it a little bit from line to line, and you can get right down to the size you got there, and it does look like text, a representation of text.
Mm. Well,
That's a heat
this
map
to me
again.
was like an experimental project. I mean, this is something that I intend to publish. So we've got here. This is for the banner that's shown on the mobile app. So the idea is that I'm supposed to be able to go in here, his priority list. I've registered with Google for Google Ads. I haven't published it yet. And then here's the Google Play console. And I'm supposed to go in and create an app, and I haven't finished that yet. I haven't done that yet. So once I've
you've
done
been
that, I'll put it online, like in the Google Play Store. I expect maybe 100 or 200 downloads in total, and that's fine.
you'll be getting rich on sports betting ads.
Yeah,
Sports
that's a
betting
good
ads.
point.
Well,
So
you at some stage you have to make a choice between getting rich on sports betting ads or having it mine Bitcoin in the background.
How much does Google take from the deal, Peter?
I don't remember. I think I saw it somewhere. Maybe I saw it somewhere. I don't know. I don't care. If I get paid, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, I don't expect I'll get much from it because it's such a simple app. But I mean, it's worked for me for years on paper,
Yeah.
and maybe for
It
other
it
people it
makes
worked.
sense.
Yeah,
It
but
makes
it's
sense.
nothing like the tree notes that I created that I created.
I got to say that Microsoft have been working on this stuff for years, and I've been trying to make sense of it, and it never ever comes out the way that you would expect. Your simple approach is the right way to do it. There's that book written by oh gosh, what's his name now? Getting Things Done. No, I can't think of his
That
name.
sounds,
But
yeah.
he's a guy who's got a great approach to it, and it's worthwhile having a read of his book because his theory is that your mind's not made for hanging on to stuff; it's for putting stuff down, and he's got a good process of being able to deal with items in a organised way,
David
and I
Allen.
find even yeah get sorry what was it?
David Allen.
David Allen, that's him. Yeah,
I
that's
had to
that's the guy.
Google.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's worth having a look while you're doing that, Peter, because it might give you some ideas.
Well, I can show you here, I suppose. I mean, there's nothing secret here really. So this is, I don't know if you can see my screen
Yep.
on the, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just got a bunch of things there, and this is what I meant about the expanding. So if I just expand here now, you can see the menu at the bottom
Yeah.
expands nicely.
Yeah.
Hang on. If that expands and then I let go, boom, they just exploded in size. If I
Right.
shrink that down, I can see the menu shrinking, and I let go, and then
Yeah.
boom, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty
Hang
good.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cancel. Yeah, it's I've ended up not shrinking it. There,
So,
shrinking.
so Peter, have you started using this app you've made? Have you?
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
or you, or you still?
Oh yeah, no, that's mine there. You can see here at the bottom. I've done things like I've contacted my teacher about a Blu-ray player, a lantern, and some DVDs, and then who's that? Lynn's birthday, which is actually next week, not this week, because my alarm told me a week early, which is what I did with Frank about a week and a half ago. And I've contacted Frank as well, and there are other things I need to do. I need to call Shifu, and hey, look, actually, there's Paul McGee. I've contacted Paul McGee, so I'm doing this really, really reverse because I'm doing it from behind. And I've done that. So that's now done. So Paul's done. There you go. So what I can do is I can sort this again and say, okay, yeah, that's neat. I want to select that. Sort. I want to sort by urgency, for example. I want to sort by urgency. So I go by urgency, and now you'll see here that Paul McKee is down there at the bottom because he's no longer top of the list urgent.
I'm used to it. That's fine.
I was expecting something like that. But what I can also do is you see here how if I'm going to go to do emails, well, all the different emails are there, those ones and those ones. Oh, what a pain. I'm just going to sort by domain. There we go. There are all the emails in one bunch. Oh, I actually only saw 4. There are 5 of them I'm supposed to contact. Oh no, one's done already. But then I've got the domain. I have that sub list of, oh, those are the emails I need to write. And then those are things that are done. Okay, fine. But no, you see telephones up there? Then I just have them bunched together. So if I'm going to drive, for example, I might as well do I can't read what that says.
And we can't pronounce it.
Blåbärssylt. That's blueberry jam. Actually, I did that yesterday with Mama, and we're going to do the tea, so I can do that. So I can actually say they're done. So the answer is yes, I'm using it, but not as efficiently as I ought to because I haven't ticked these things off.
Can you filter to show like just emails, for example? Yet?
No, I don't need to because I just grouped them. So now I've sorted by urgency again. And what I can do now is I can go and delete these ticks because I don't need to do those anymore. They're done.
Right. Well,
And
I'm going to put it into a suggestion maybe because maybe you don't want to see the ones that you've already done, for example.
Yeah, but what I've found using my paper is people would say, "Oh, you see, like I've been so busy lately. So what have you done?" Well, I don't remember. Well, what have you done? Well, I did this and I did that. Oh, and I did this other thing as well. And say, well, you haven't done much then, have you? No. Seriously, I've been busy. And the list is long, but I can't prove it because I've rubbed everything out.
I want to put in a request for the most important feature for me would be so that I can add it when I think about it and immediately have it and tick it just to say like it's something I did and I'm going to record it in there.
You can do that. Sure, you can.
Actually, one thing
you just add one, and then when you add it, you just set it to
microphone. Yep. Yeah, just switch it to microphone and just go straight in. Yeah.
You just go and let's see, where is it now? Debug. Oh no, that's Android. We want Win64.
I was half joking, but if I've done something, I want to write it on the list and cross it off at the same time.
Sure. So we go and create an item and we say
Not that often I get something
thing I did, and it's done.
Oh, I think
And I don't know what it was. I did something anyway. Thing I did, done. There you go.
one thing you could do.
That's one as well. A date, time of day, to go out.
Yeah.
Because then later on there, that
If a man wants to know, he cleared your.
oh, here's the date, time, right?
That's for tree notes, and tree notes had that.
Yeah,
But
you want that one. You want that one because you get like an email something like that. You do it there, and you can find out straight away if it's done or whatever. You can do that sort of thing. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, this is as I say, it is just
yeah.
mimicking what I normally
That's
do
right.
do on paper. I mean,
Yeah.
let's
Come on,
find
leave it
here.
there.
You can see here, I've crossed off a whole bunch of things because this is what I do when I transfer the list from one page to another.
Mm.
But you can also see that I've rubbed out because I use pen that you can rub out.
Yeah.
So actually the amount of stuff I've done is like, this is how much I've done. And I can't actually prove to people I've done all this.
Mm.
And all they see is this.
I use a similar system to what you've got there, but I use a postage stamp,
Postage stamp.
and I haven't filled it up yet.
Mate, I use a toilet paper roll and there's not enough toilet paper.
When you have
Anyway,
that
here you go.
in a certain releasable form, again, you should advertise it on the forum and maybe the Delphi Facebook groups and just say,
Yeah.
here's an app that's I've made.
Well, I didn't make this. I got Claude to make it.
That is you making it. There's your look. What
No.
happened the first? What was the first version like?
Oh,
All the
well,
rest
yeah.
is your input.
I was a product owner. Claude was a developer.
Yeah, so it'll get no credit whatsoever. Two other things that I had written down here, and you could approach them in any order, whichever, or not at all. That's up to you. One was about fork, because is there a possibility of having multiple stashes, or is there only ever one stash? That's one question.
Oh, no, you can have lots of stashes. I just don't like to use stashes. Here, actually,
Yeah, I don't
there
know
are
how
two
that works.
stashes. Right, right. There you
The
go.
second question is about the internationalization,
Oh, yes.
and which I don't know John's interested in too, I think. Was that done in a sort of like a manual way just for English and question mark Swedish? Or
Actually,
did you do it in a sort of a globally applicable sort
clearly,
of
the
way?
way I've done it is this, is all the text. So if we go into options here, oh my, starting, I'm just hurting.
Good.
Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Sorry, it's my belly that hurts. It happens daily. So we
Sorry.
can see here.
I thought you were suffering for your art.
No, no, I wish it was that, but no. So you can see here. If I just go and put this, I'll just put it on the desktop. There we go. All right. So I'm just gonna export. So here I'm in the options. I'm going to export this JSON file here, this priority list export. Boom. It's a bad name, but anyway, there it is. All right. If we open this up, it's just a JSON file. And you can see here, button cancel, the text is cancel. Button close, the button is close. Button move target is move to ... So will you please just cooperate? So, okay, so if I go to this one here, select, no, that's not the one. Anyway. But yeah, so delete confirm, delete this item and all descendants. So if I'm going to go and delete this thing I did, I select that and I say delete this one item and all descendants. Yes or no? I'm going to say no for now. So I've got this English translation all the way down. Urgency is for the texts here. Why is this not behaving now? Come on. Oh, that's why. It's a wrong mode. So you can see these texts here. They are the texts there. The main texts are not actually used. They could be used, but they're for here. You see, I'm not bothering with the text for this anymore. Now, what I can then do is I can go and change those and save into a new file, which I've done. So I can go and fetch. Okay. Sorry, it's going to go in here into resources, texts, and here's svenska, which is Swedish. I'm just going to pop Swedish here, and you'll see all I've done is I've put Swedish words for these different things. Delete is ta bort. Should probably be a G there if I want older Swedish. Move target, flytta till. Delete confirm, ta bort this raden och alla dess barn. So when I then load this in, I simply apply this text right across all the windows. So what I'll do is I'll make all this visible.
Did Claude help with that, or did you do it by hand?
The translation here I did myself, but the implementation, this part here, that Claude did. No, that's not the one I'm wanting. Okay, we can just go back to English. That's not the one.
I wonder if you asked Claude to translate the English, if you'd end up with the same thing or different.
Sorry, if I got Claude to
do the translation, whether it would come out to be the same thing that you had come up with.
Are you doing two-way translation to get English, Swedish, and then Swedish back to English, see if you get the same thing?
Could be. It could do, I suppose, but I just thought it's easier for me to do.
You get Star Wars, two old men fight with sticks.
Yeah. So here, stila, all that jazz, stäng. If I go to this one here, välj, ta bort. Ta bort en rad och alla dess barn. And that's it here. So that's how I did my translation.
But okay, so the next question is that your UI is connected to a JSON file. And would you like to speak about how that works?
Well, what I did, so what we have is, I'm just going to go back to English so it's easier for everyone. You'll see here that when it comes to styles, there is only import. When it comes to text and icon, there are exports. Now, what that means is that the style, once we've got these different styles, it puts them in a local directory. And then in the database is a setting that says which one has been chosen. So it remembers that next time we start the application. And that same applies to all three of these. However, styles remain as an external file. Text and icons are actually imported into the database so that next time I load, they should just be able to use what's in the database. As it turns out, I discovered this afternoon, it doesn't actually bother using the icons in the database. It just loads them up from scratch, I think. Or maybe I'm wrong. The text, however, is in the database and it's using the database. So I can now go and delete. So if I go into here, for example, I'm using Swedish. I could, in theory, go and delete that file and it'll still work. So what I'm doing really is, actually close you, not open. Okay, there. We go to the options form. Actually, I shouldn't say what I do. I should say what Claude does because I didn't do it. So here we go to do, I might have to take a break soon because this is hurting a lot.
Sure.
So do applied. That's actually in the main form, I believe. I think that's actually.
I have this terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach.
I do too, and it's very painful.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Rubbish.
that I'm not sure that this has been recorded the whole time. I set it to automatic record, but now I'm like, did I see it telling me that we've been
recording when I started? So I think it is actually recorded.
Yeah,
Oh, thank God.
It's recording when I started too. Yeah.
Unless it's not.
Hey, Paul, just a heads up. You've got a limited storage capacity for when it records online, so you have to download it. If you do like 2 meetings, you might find it blows it out and then it just stops recording.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
right.
I think unless you told it to stop, it should still be recording, I think.
Well, yeah, I had this thought before and forgot. Then I just had the thought, and I went to the dot 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 that's down here,
Mm.
and it says record, and I'm like, dear God, no, 'cause there's been so
Yeah.
I'm
good.
pretty sure when I joined, it showed a message saying it was
Yeah,
being
I did,
recorded.
I did mean to ask you guys. Yeah, I did
yeah,
mean
it
to ask.
definitely said it when I came, and I came quite late. So yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Actually, I'm sure it's on because I've got a thing top right now. Maybe it's because I'm co-host, but it says cloud recording is on. So yeah, it's being recorded.
So here, when we go to actually apply things, when it comes to text, it goes and does a refresh from database. And great, we have an interface. The interfaces are useful, but this is, I think, a little bit the wrong use of interfaces. You don't use interfaces for the sake of using interfaces. You use interfaces to simplify, to basically abstract.
Hey
But
Peter,
anyway, yeah.
given that you've spoken for ages really well, thank you very much. It's been fantastic. Would you like to maybe push this discussion about the UI to the next meeting?
Happily, yes. And then I can run off and do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good idea.
Peter, just a question: is this same problem you had some time ago?
Yeah, it's going to be
Recurring?
lifelong.
Yeah.
I think unless I can sort out what's causing the inflammation. And the gastroenterologists are useless, it seems. But there's a GP who specializes in integrated medicine. In other words, she's open-minded.
Yeah.
She's had a much better effect than the specialists.
Good luck with it. Good luck with it, mate.
I'm beginning to look at other wider alternative treatments now. So,
Yeah. Take care.
lab tested, but still. So this is my VM shutting down. And as you can see, it's just a VM because I'm not disappearing. Boom, there we go. We've got 4, and yeah. There we go. Okay, so thanks for that. Thanks for putting up with my voice so long. That was a long session.
Good job, mate. Excellent.
We got putting up with your voice, Pete.
So we covered, I suppose, quite a lot of different topics. It was AI, how I used Claude, how Claude can be incredibly messy if you don't watch out, how you can use the MD files once or also per project to rein in Claude's behavior. Also the WADUG component being available so that it deploys properly, so that SQLite deploys properly. Also, the deployment of additional files. So I had those other resource files that are now being deployed on my Android version. Yeah, there are quite a few things we covered, really.
Terrific presentation, mate. Fantastic.
This is Peter, who at 12:30 today quotes, "I don't have anything prepared, but I have an idea of what something to talk about."
Could we expect any less, mate?
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
No, well, last time 2 months ago, I was a rambling mess. I wasn't coping very well. So it's hit and miss.
So where are you physically now? Are you still in China, or are you back here?
I'm back here. I'm at Frank's place at the moment.
Oh, Frank's place. Oh, right,
Hang on.
right.
Look at Frank's screen.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, Frank's in the other room. Oh, I see. Right.
In the same room.
How was your China trip? Did it work out well? Did you
It was a disaster, really, I suppose. It was a failed mission, I suppose one could say. So I went there. I had 2 missions. My primary mission was to meet Yen, this girl I met a little over half a year ago, whom I just felt I had a connection with.
Yep.
Secondary mission was to find a job so that I could live nearby her so we could get to know each other. That was the plan. However, I took too long, so she had moved on. And so the primary mission failed. She didn't have time for me at all. because she's working crazy just to not lose a job because AI is ruining it for them, making everyone feel that they're becoming redundant. And secondly, and my secondary mission was therefore moot. Yes, I went to a few interviews. I got one eventually, but it's no point.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was very nice and cold. For me, that's a good thing. Was much better than the blazing heat you guys had here.
Yeah.
Food was challenging because there was a lot of meat, a lot of pork. Eventually, after a few days, I just asked at the youth hostel, where can I go and get vegetables? Seriously, I need vegetables.
Yeah.
And I went and they told me, go downstairs to the restaurant on the left. Oh, and then this one girl wrote a note to take to show the woman behind the counter, and I did. And she looked at me and she gave me this. She read the note and she gave me a disgusted look, like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you not eating meat? Why do you want vegetables?
A vegetarian.
What is wrong with this person?" But I felt so much better after eating some vegetables.
Yeah. Good on you.
I didn't enjoy myself there very much because I didn't quite know where to go, what to do, and yeah, I know people have a lot of fun there, but I guess because my primary mission failed, everything else became sort of
Good to see you back, mate.
yeah.
Yeah, so you know a few ratbags in this group they call WADUG. Well, we're happy to see you, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, mate.
Well, I'd see you anyway, even if I was in China. I'd just busy seeing you from China.
Yeah. No, the talk, like, amazing. I had basically, almost nothing planned, and rabbit out of a hat. You have
Yep.
awesome.
Excellent job, mate.
So there you go. All right, I'll leave it over to you guys. And
Okay. Thanks.
okay, so I'll silence this one. You can put it on there.
I think we'll, unless anyone else wants to talk about an issue you've been having or a success or a.
Just one question, Paul.
Yeah.
The seminar this year is going to be in Melbourne, is it? No Zoom at all, or
Yeah. It'll be online.
it'll be
Yeah,
online as well too. Oh, so you're
absolutely,
right.
absolutely, yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that all the presenters
Yeah. No, that
will
makes
be
sense.
there in person, which is
Yeah.
yeah. I should have
Yeah.
said the symposium is definitely something
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
be mentioning.
So,
Um,
so what time will we see it here?
I believe it starts at
It'll be early. It's like an 8 a.m. start, so it'll be
Yeah.
like 7 a.m. here or something like that,
Yeah.
6 a.m.
6
Yeah.
a.m.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. 2 hours difference. Yeah.
And but yeah, 4 speakers all in person in Melbourne, so the breaks will be probably have a little bit of a
Yeah,
different.
so their lunchtime will be like our early morning.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of 2 hours out of whack.
Yeah.
So there's probably not a good time for us to have lunch. It's going to be in the middle of them doing presentations.
Yeah.
The people there will be wanting, have to take advantage of the chance to talk to the presenters who are actually there, and that's fair enough. So we may have, in the past we've had big chats in lunchtime to Ian Barker and maybe Primosh for for a certain amount, 20 minutes before his talk, and Alistair, because he was in New Zealand, was having, and other people that were just online having general discussion. I think we probably need to think up some way to occupy. I mean, we could just kind of, like, in a sense, power down the broadcast over lunch, but I always enjoy talking to people. So
Yeah.
we
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
we might need to apply our thinking caps a little more.
Yeah.
We should look ahead a couple of months, maybe do an in-person one haven't had one of those for a while. Maybe a
Mm,
month after, or the month after that.
Oh, you mean here in Perth, you mean?
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, but I was just thinking more like for whoever will be online, there'll be a certain period where, we probably won't have access to the presenters during lunchtime, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like they'll be talking to people face to face, I suppose.
But I reckon there'll be plenty of people willing to talk to us because everyone that's a Delphi fanatic want to talk to other Delphi fanatics. And if there's a lunchtime going on, there's still 80% of the viewing audience are hungry to keep it going.
Mm, mm.
We don't need to stop for lunch. We can just go and get a piece of toast and come back and watch what's happening with someone else.
Yeah, I should message Ian Barker and just so I don't know if I mean, he loves to talk anyway, I suppose, but you can barely shut him
Well,
up.
I was thinking like we could invite him along anyway and say we're just inviting you as a guest, um, not not to actually do anything, but just um, to watch things and stuff.
Do you know what, Jeffrey? What we could do is, at our church on a Sunday morning, the blokes come on Zoom. We have a Zoom sort of central area, and when they want to chat, they all go get around the machine and chat, and so the people remotely can see what's going on and hear what's going on and hear the questions and everything. So you could do it that way.
Yeah, I guess we
I
could
mean,
just
it
sort of,
would be a bit of an audio issue, I guess, like
yeah,
if there's like 40 people there or
make
something.
a standing station that people could go up to or something.
Yeah, yeah. I use a little what kind is it? A little Bose gadget, a little
Yeah.
USB, not a USB, a device which just talks to an iPad. We just use an iPad, and it works out pretty good.
Yeah.
It's loud. You can hear all the conversation and everything else. We have used it in some meetings too. That we have too. Just take it and stick it in the middle of the table, and all sort of works okay. So they don't have to pull out. They can have their conversation, and we can just be voyeurs looking in, eh?
I mean, there may also be people who want to have a quiet word,
Yeah.
without sharing
Oh, you walk away a
some
bit further then.
some information widely. Um, but
We go out the smoker's deck.
um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how Ian would feel about I mean, we'd just be talking to probably just to people who are online rather than the
Mm,
in-person people for the
mm,
for the hour or so that the break would be. But
mm.
yeah, I mean, once you get him started talking, then
Yeah,
the,
that's it,
the
right?
momentum solves itself pretty much, I think.
That's dead right.
The um, maybe one of the what do you reckon, Jeff? One of the and Scott, maybe one of the prizes in the draw would be um, a paid transit to the next one for one of the members.
Interesting idea.
Not something I've thought about before. Just the last 20 seconds. Prepaid ticket to the next symposium. If we remember, we gave it to you.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. I think we can probably wind it down. And if there aren't any more kind of Jeff, isn't it? Well, we pretty much pushed him just about nearly to midnight.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, it's 9 here.
Yeah.
25 months.
Well, thanks again, Paul, for organising it all. It's a terrific
Uh,
job.
the word organizing
No, it's all right,
very
mate.
loosely applied in this
We all
situation.
understand. We all understand the pressures, mate. It'll just you can't do everything. Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. Thank you. And I pushed it on by a week, and we had a great meeting thanks to Peter.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. You're a good bunch of blokes, most of you.
You'd be surprised how many meetings over the years have just like come together the day before or on that morning.
Yeah, it's
You
right.
know, so,
Yeah.
yeah, appreciate your time putting all that in, Peter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of time. Oh yeah, totally right.
Well, I mean, you already said like solving some of those problems involved, whole days.
Well, I suppose. I
Even
mean,
even
yeah,
even problems you didn't even want to be solving, with the mobile
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the most frustrating thing, isn't it? Like,
Mhm.
you're like, I can do the code. Just run, you bastard, run.
Mm.
I just want to do the code. Please let me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would have had it like fine on Windows. It was just getting it over to the mobile, right?
Yeah, I was working in Win32. Win32 is a special case. It compiles very fast and runs, and Win64 is a different platform, as is Android 64. I haven't bothered that. I'm just using 64-bit Windows and 64-bit Android.
Mm.
But once I got it to work, once I figured out that once I got so I could compile and run. I could compile for Windows 64, but of course I couldn't get the Android to work. And once I got that done, I still had deployment issues because of the SQL server. And once I figured out I just needed that component, it worked.
Oh, that's another brief question is whether it has much like platform specific code in there that you had to.
There is for mobile devices and PC devices, there is a distinction. So I'm not making a distinction between Android and iOS or anything like that. It's just mobile PC. So the PC, the menu bar is at the top, mobile is at the bottom, and below that there is an add banner. So the add banner is only available in Android.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Was
Hey,
that fairly? Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, that's right. Keep going.
No, go on.
Well, I'm on a different topic, so I'll let you finish whatever you're asking.
Oh, I was just going to say, like the Embarcadero likes to say, write once and run on, 5, 7, whatever different platforms now. But you think about it a little bit and like, well, it has to be personalized to different
It does.
platforms in certain
It
ways.
does.
But
So
if it's fairly minimal, that's great,
yeah,
Yeah.
so
When FireMonkey first started coming out, I went through all my common library, just things like, showing a message, writing text out to a file, just all sorts of little things. And there were a load of them that I had to rewrite, just like copy to clipboard doesn't work. You need a different code for each platform. There are actually quite a few. So I ended up with like all this. I ended up with just all my common units worked, but so I didn't have to have a copy of it, a different one for a different platform. But I had to have all this conditional code to say if it's Android, then do this. If it's Mac, do something different.
things work fundamentally differently on different operating systems. I remember looking at the hit test for when you click on something in a window. So let's say you click a button that's on a panel that's in a form. So I don't remember which is which now, but I think it's Windows will actually have them. So it tests. Do you hit the button? No, you missed the button and you hit. So maybe you like it checks the ones at the front first, and if it misses those, it checks the ones behind. It checks the ones behind that. Maybe I don't remember which is which, but the other one goes, oh, did you click this form? Oh, you did. Inside this form, did you click something else like a panel? Oh, you did. Okay, within this scope, did you click something else like the button? So one goes from the background to the front, and the other one goes from the front to the back.
Right.
And yeah, XE just had to sort of cope with both of them in a way that appeared to function the same way.
Correct.
So it was not a simple job for them to do.
No, you can, yeah. It would have been nice if they could have made VCL cross-platform that, but I think it pretty much came down to they're under pressure to do something cross-platform, and they just had an option of some guy had built FireMonkey,
But,
yeah, and it was and they just basically bought it as a quick solution. But yeah, VCL was far too focused on Windows.
yeah, and I don't understand why over the past decade and more, 15 years, they put so much effort into VCL, when if they put that into FireMonkey, FireMonkey would now be where VCL was at.
Yeah.
And that's all they'd need.
Yeah.
They just have one library to worry
run
about.
on Linux and everything. Yeah.
And I really think the problems with FireMonkey aren't so much what it's capable of now, but the first few releases were absolutely terrible. When the first release was so bad, they threw it away. They said the next, I think it came out in what, XE2 or something like that. And the next version, they said, yeah, it's not even in this version. You've got to go back to XE2 to use it. And then the one after that, they said, we're bringing out this thing called FireMonkey in this release, but it's actually not compatible with the first FireMonkey. And you had to rebuild. And even then, there were just so many. It took years before. Well, I tried to build some very simple things and just gave up. It was things like if you had monsters with each one had a different resolution, like a DPI, like running 125% instead of 100, and it just wouldn't work. Just simple things. It basically just got a bad reputation from the first couple of years, and I think it's never recovered from that.
Well, what's it like now, Scott? Have you found that things like messages and all are better handled by it, or what's the situation now?
Yeah, well, the worst thing that they did is that they took out data set and data field. So you had to use the data linking thing just to get database compatibility working, connections working. That was a really bad decision. And there's other add-ons, like I use Unidac for my database connectivity, and that does include data field, data set. But you still can't, or there's some grids, for example, you might buy a grid from some third party and they include data field, data set. So not having that for all the base components was a really big mistake because people hated using that linking thing, right? I mean, it demonstrated great if you had a small number of fields, but if you had a complex form with a dozen different data sets, and it was like death by 1,000 lines. It was just like lines pointing all over the place. You can never work out what the heck it was doing.
I could barely get the simple things working. It was a mess.
Yeah. Really, really bad.
The old data sets with data links, that was so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so is that what
so for a while sorry, go ahead.
So they've got you can use data sets now and
no, I don't think so. So the standard components don't use data field, data set. You have to use the data link thing.
Yeah.
So for a while, I thought, right, I'm going to do everything in FireMonkey from this point on, right? So I built a couple apps in that, but it took so much more effort. VCL was so much slicker. Everything just worked cleanly.
Yeah.
FireMonkey just felt like a battle the whole time, and it got to a point where actually, you know what? I actually don't care about other platforms. I'm building apps for myself. I'm just running Windows. Don't care about any other platform. Don't care about phone, tablet, Mac, whatever. I thought, I'm just the next one I built, I'm just going to go back to VCL.
Yeah.
So unless I had a specific need to do cross-platform or deploy to phones and tablets,
the programming,
I would just stick with VCL.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, VCL does a better job of building Windows apps. It's a nicer experience as a developer. You don't feel like you're battling it the whole way through.
That's right. It is pretty
I've got a
snacky.
different route. I have not, to my memory, started like created a single VCL app, not even a little test app, in 15 years more.
Well, that's interesting.
I just don't touch VCL. And I'm fine with FireMonkey now. FireMonkey is not a problem for me now. Except it's not FireMonkey, it's just getting Delphi to see that. But that's
There is one key difference. FireMonkey does a really good job with transparency. You can make anything transparent. Does a terrific job of that. So, he's building some little stupid app with just like a little man running along the screen. And you needed to be able to see behind that, be able to click on it, drag the little man around and see everything, be able to click on a transparent part of the man and have that click through to the underlying whatever was underneath that. And FireMonkey does a great job of that.
basically like a
VCL,
sprite.
it's a battle to do that. So
Basically like a sprite, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I built a couple apps that were kind of similar things, or there were ways to make in VCL to do a transparent form. I think I did a demo of that for Perth at some point.
Yeah.
But it was just so much easier to do that in FireMonkey. So that thing I was really impressed with. But yeah, losing the data field data set, that was a big issue.
And isn't that in VCL as well? Or do they still have data set?
No, it's, they'll never remove it from VCL.
Oh, I see.
It's but yeah, things when we first saw it, like, oh man, that's great. You just like drag lines between things and they all link up and
No, I got shivers the first time I saw it because you know what I'm like. I don't like RAD programming. I don't like RAD programming in relation to databases.
Yeah.
At all. And the whole data set to data link is great when you're making small apps, but even when you make large apps, it's really only grids it's good for. When I made the last big Delphi application, that was 2015 that was my last VCL app actually. Was it VCL? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was FireMonkey as well. Whatever. And I used, we had data sets, so I don't know which one it was. But I, what was I going to say? So it was a database-driven database application. And everything, it was so database-driven that the configuration screens were configured. There were only 3 screens that needed to be coded, and they were, when you do a form designer, the actual form designer, when you plonk the controls on there, then you got the property editor, and then you had one for selecting a form to actually trigger the form designer. That's it. Nothing else was coded. They were all configured. That's how or they could be configurable. Could be configured. That's how configurable it was. And the only thing, so even the controls that you put down onto the so-called form designer, those were controls that I had a sort of parent class, it's like saying T control effectively. And the properties therein and so on. And all of that, no linking, because it was just, and so I was basically mimicking what you do with a VCL, VCL application if you just do purely RAD. So ironically, I was building a RAD application with the scripting language being SQL, not Delphi. But it meant that you could alter things, no compilation, you just alter things on the fly. You could try it, test it, it works, deploy, like minutes. But The only thing I used a data link for was grids. That's it. Because it's too invisible, and then something switches in the DFM and you can't see it, and you've lost it, and something's broken.
You know what? The good thing about the data set was that you could put all of your logic of data, you know, all your logic and connection stuff into the data set, and separate it from the rest of your screens and things.
Yeah.
And you can multi-use it, which is really good.
Yeah,
That's what I found. That's what I found good.
And putting in a different data unit. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's the idea of it's separating your database connectivity and database, and separating everything to do with the database from UI.
And it would have been smart to do that in
good job of that.
FireDAC because you're still writing, you're still writing in Windows, so you could have done it, and it would be. I mean, it's invisible. You don't see anything about that in the application. So you're right. It is a great loss, I think.
So you think about a screen where you've got hundreds of fields on the screen, and trying to link all of those up by dragging lines between different things, right? And that's bad enough. But then you go, okay, now I've got so many, I'm losing things, right? And all you want to do typically is you've got one field, you just want to link it to one column in a data set. And you can't even see that in the, you bring up the field's properties, you can't even see it. You've got to go to a data thing, and the data link thing has now got boxes and lines all over the place.
I think it's a problem of the developers not considering scale. So they go, oh, let's make this. Hey, check out this demo. It looks great, doesn't it? Yay! And they haven't considered exactly that, the whole scaling thing.
God. Oh God.
Yes.
I'm just sharing my screen. That's the item I picked up. So it's actually not an Osborne 1, I just realized. It's an Osborne Executive, which is like the Model 2. I thought they only brought out 1, but I've got a kind of Model 2 there. So what happened, this is the second model they brought out, and then the CEO of the company made an announcement, said, "Oh, we're glad everybody's buying these things like hotcakes. You're gonna love the next model that's coming out in the next 6 months or 12 months. And it's got all these fancier features." And everyone went, "Oh, well, in that case, I won't buy one now. I'll wait for this new one." Their sales took a nosedive, and the company died. It's like a textbook case of how to kill a like $100 million company in 60 seconds.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's great. Look, I actually grew up using one of these. It's funny because I always thought the screen was on the left. Maybe the Model 1 it was on the left. I'd probably use a Model 1.
The screen was smaller on the one.
And I think you're right. I recall it being on the left. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But
it was
the smaller
in the exact
screen.
Middle.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum.
But yeah, notice it's got it's got two floppy drive units in there.
Oh, yeah, the big ones.
No, those ones there are 185 kilowatts.
5.25. But you see, it's actually got 3 slots.
Yeah.
Right. So what you've got is you've got one bay there. Hang on, what's going on here? You've got one bay there, a second bay there. This third one, I haven't had a look at it. I think it's just a big empty slot that you can just take these drives and then just stick them in there for safekeeping.
It's for sandwiches.
It's just an empty hole. Yeah, store your sandwiches in there.
Maybe it's a plug and play thing for adding another drive, or maybe cartridges later on.
That wasn't at all. Nothing.
I doubt if they had a hard drive in these. This was
never.
No, that's true. That's true. Hard drives did not exist. There was a non-concept.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cartridges existed.
They were never big and they're wide.
But cartridges existed.
I remember you could go to a job and you'd just have 2 floppy disks, ran everything, had Word on one and something on something, all your databases and everything.
So I've been trying to pick up one of these for 20 years. I actually bought one about 20 years ago on eBay when eBay was really new, and the guy screwed me over. I bought it and he didn't ship it over. And I kind of forgot all about it. About 6 months later, I went, "Hey, what about that thing I bought?" And by then it was too late. The guy had disappeared. And I paid a lot for that. It was like 300 or 400. Never turned up. I picked this one up just $100. It's not working. The guy turned it on, it blew all the caps on it. So not working, but that's okay. So I never turn on all my machines anyway.
Bob,
Are you
Bob
trying
will,
to run an AI on it or something?
You'd be, yeah, you're lucky to get a Hello World running on this.
Bob will give us
This
a
is,
running demonstration of the Exidy Sorcerer
There's
one day.
yeah,
um, full bit because
64 byte.
yeah, I think it was yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I bet there's like a live one you
It
can.
wasn't an 80 because the two both small.
I'll see if there's a live one. We get turn one on. Here we go. This guy just running it. Download. Sometimes you can find like a live version, like a website that
Yeah,
emulates the whole thing. But yeah, let's have a quick look here. You're gonna fire it up.
that's the first.
Yeah, see, he has a manual in the bottom left. See, there you
Oh,
go.
so it runs CPM
Wow.
CPM operating system.
3 dots.
Here's the guy, Adam Osborne. He's the one that announced, "Oh yeah, you're gonna love the next one." I was hoping this guy had a screen running, but no.
Did these guys
It-
come out before Compact came out after them, I
4.5
suppose?
inch screen.
yeah,
There's only a tiny
4.5 inch screen. I mean, that's like
maybe this got something. There we go. Not a bad screen. That looks like about what, a 40 across, 40 by 20 or something. That's actually pretty good. And the thing is, CPM was very DOS-like, right? I mean, if you knew CPM and DOS, you could flip between the two. There was very little difference. You can see here, look at an A drive prompt. You could do a DIR listing. Yeah.
I remember it well, mate.
But it was, it was boot up one floppy typically for the operating system.
That's it.
And you
Two
quite
floppies, you
often
got
actually run a
everything.
program on the one drive as well. So you have like one drive with just your data. Oh, look at this. Oh my God, there's another bay. You see what he did? So there's an empty slot here. There's another one here for your sandwiches on the right hand side. I didn't realize that.
Well,
I haven't taken it out of the box yet. It's a bit dusty. I need to take it out.
the
But
sandwiches
that's
would be
funny.
the left because nobody reads the manual.
Yeah. Well, this is probably like a sandwich warmer, that would probably heat up inside. You got a toasted sandwich. Stick it
First
in there.
microwave.
Oh, it's funny. And actually, this one is different because look, this is an Osborne one. That's why.
Yeah.
See, it's only got two bays. There's a bay on the left and there's a bay on the right.
So what does what's yours look like?
Both of them have two drives.
What's on the right-hand side of Scott's?
Not sure.
I'll try and
What's
find
on
it.
the right-hand side of yours?
The text is 52 and the one is 52 by, I can't remember, like 20 or
What
something.
is it on the right? Oh, it's a speaker, is it?
Yeah.
Speaker, right? Yeah.
There's was there.
Some
Yeah.
button.
So you're right. You're right there. Mine's got a
Oh God! Oh God!
mine's got a bigger screen. You're right there, Paul. Didn't realize that. So that's got.
Yours, the Osborne one had a 52 columns and yours has an 80.
Oh, 80 columns, mate.
But it
Columns. Like a
It
Commodore
doesn't say how many
64.
rows.
Yeah.
Doesn't say how
So
many
it's a heavy beast. Like it's like if you carry it on board your plane luggage now, you'd blow your 7 kilo limit. So it's a huge thing, but it was designed. The whole point about the size, it was designed to fit underneath a plane seat, right? Well, I tell you, you wouldn't get under a plane seat now. You can barely get a tiny little laptop bag in your seat under the seat in front of you.
That just shows how they're screwing us over on the planes, right?
Sorry?
That just shows how they've been crimping us in the aeroplane.
Oh yeah.
I'd forgotten about the K Pro. Just looking at this.
Oh, okay. I got a couple of those. I got two of them.
computer, is it?
And
I was
then
I was trying to buy another one last week. There was one that came up. I
Yeah.
think one of mine is working, but I'm not sure, and the other one's definitely not working. I've got a K-Pro 1, the K-Pro 2.
what about
A
combat?
working K-Pro came up for sale just last week, and I tried to buy it, but I didn't get it in time.
I
Compact?
never heard of a K-Pro. Never heard of that.
K-Pro?
Well,
K-Pro.
Apparently they sold quite well in Perth. Again, it's a like a luggable computer. That's so this keyboard kind of flips up and locks into this thing.
Yeah. That's a
Probably
big screen.
I'm looking at it right now. It's probably a little bit bigger than the Osborne.
Hey,
Probably
portable.
ran CPM. Yeah, there you go. It ran CPM. So basically, all of the business computers back then, the ones like this and the mini computers, they used to all run CPM. It was like standard operating system.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Before IBM came involved and wanted, they
Yeah.
didn't want to use CPM. They wanted to have something else, and that's when Bill
No,
Gates.
I think IBM really
Really
didn't care. What they wanted was something fast. That's all they cared
Yeah.
about. So they went to Bill Gates and said, "Hey, we need an operating system."
That's huge.
Bill Gates said, "Well, we haven't got one, but you ought to go and talk to the guy, Gary Kildare, from Digital Research, because he's got CPM. Go see him." IBM went to see him. The whole thing fell apart. They missed the meeting. He was flying in a plane or something. So they went back to Microsoft. Well, we tried to talk to Gary Kildare, couldn't get hold of him. So we're coming back to you. And he went, "Oh, all right, well, give me a minute." And then he found some guy locally that had like a hand-blown version of like CPM, a
DOS.
clone of CPM.
Yeah.
So they said, "Well, listen, we'll buy that off you." And then that's what became MS-DOS.
Yeah.
So MS-DOS was actually heavily based on CPM.
Yeah.
And they paid $60,000.
Yeah. It's amazing.
No, I think it was a lot less, something like 10,000. It was. I mean, mind you, that's probably like 50 or 100,000 now.
Well, I've got
MS
I thought it was
DOS.
much less.
back in the
Oh no,
day,
$50,000. Okay.
back in the day, I was doing
amazing.
stats and numerical maths, for a
Ah, here we are.
degree in maths, and so we're in the computer lab, and that's the first hard disk that I ever saw.
Look,
It's
today.
it's the size of a washing machine.
Yeah.
It's got seven gigabytes of storage capacity.
That's what I had.
And
I have
in
one of
today's
those.
money, it's worth 500,
One of those, yeah.
500,000
Yep.
Aussie dollars.
I was working at a mining company, Mount Newman Mining Company, back in those days, and we had all our stuff on IBM machines, and we used to have the disk drives, and the disk drives, you're right, they were like a washing machine, and we had one floor with all of these washing machines. That's how because we're doing drilling work and trying to find out the topology of the ore body and all sorts of other, all the counting systems, everything ran on that. And PCs were just a dream, they were fantastic.
There's my two K-Pros, K-Pro 1, the K-Pro 2, which are, I think, pretty much identical, but yeah, you'd be hard pushed to find a difference between them apart from colored keys.
Scott?
But yeah, this was the old design, the luggables, where so basically anything that had a handle on it, that's considered portable. So these all had like this
Oh, a micro.
handle on the side. Yeah.
You got the micro key there.
You guys talk about these computers from around, roughly around 1980. But when we came here in 1990, and my father started working at Princess Margaret Hospital, he had the very first computer in the entire hospital in 1990. And he said, "We're going to computerize this department." And they thought they couldn't really understand him.
Yeah.
And so now
Well, that was my early computer job history. Like when I first started working for Oracle, a lot of the sales that we had were companies computerizing, going from paper-based to computer.
Yeah.
Their entire accounting system running off paper. changing the computers. That was and then after they did that, then it was okay. Well, now we need to change from mini computers to PCs. So that was another big push, client server computing. And then that was a bit of a disaster. So eventually web replaced all of that. But,
Scott, do you have a
yeah.
compact portable?
Have a one?
A compact luggable?
Compact.
I have a kind of one, I think. I'm just trying to find it.
That's it.
When I was going to university, when the Earth was cooling, we were given a computer. We were given a computer, and it couldn't run even Fortran on it. So we had a thing called IITran, and the way this thing worked is you had to take. Yeah, there was a IBM stations, and you had to feed in the cards and punch up the cards and submit your cards in a box. Crikey, that was such a long time ago. And what I was a part-time student, and all the full-time students had come in and in the day, and they'd see your cards, and they'd all go everywhere and everything, and they get their cards, and you'd go around looking for the cards, and there'd be a bug in the program, and oh gosh. And we'd be there at 11 o'clock at night because you couldn't get good access to the thing during the day.
Yeah. Well, I have this thing. I can't recall what the name is. The name escapes me, but it's kind of the same thing. A luggable keyboard folds up into there. And one of the other really interesting ones I got from a whole class of machines that you never hear of anymore. Give me a second.
Sweden had its own
word processors.
Computer called Complex. Can you just Google that?
These are amazing.
So that's a dedicated word processor, which I think is really weird. These things should have evolved into PCs, right? I mean, these were around in that early era, late 1970s, early 80s.
Right, that's right.
There were a lot of computerized word processors. So it's basically just a fancy typewriter, but it could save documents, load documents. You'd have like these hotkeys to do things like inject your standard header line or address or whatever. And then a printer in the back. You can see the little spits out a page at the top. So I was always surprised that word processors didn't evolve into being PCs.
They were Wangs, weren't they? They called a Wang.
Wang.
You remember those Wangs?
Wang ended up going into computers. They did a lot of things with computers. This is actually a brother, a WP80.
Oh, is it? Yeah, right.
So this is like a whole class of machine that just disappeared once people started using PCs as a word processor.
Yeah. Nice.
But for a while, I mean, this is when around early 90s. You hear people go, "Oh, I need to get something for a secretary." But they want one of these. They don't want a PC. They want this because they used it at some other site. They're trained on it. All the hotkeys are, speeds up their productivity. So kind of like a luggable. But
XT originally with a word processing program on it was $10,000.
Yep.
For which one?
The original PC.
Yeah, we paid
it's probably like WordStar. I'm thinking of something like that.
An XT, sorry.
Right.
We
so IBM. So I've got an IBM PC and I've got an IBM XT, which is the model that came after the PC. Just the base though, not the monitor. And I wouldn't want to turn them on. I don't even know if they're working. I'd never switch them on.
Yeah, we had a TRS-80 at one stage for our newspaper round, running a basic program written in BASIC, and then there was a PC. It would have been the most basic type, from Harry Tan, was it Harry Tan?
Tan computers in.
And that was 10 grand, but it was 5 grand for the computer and 5 grand for the software. And I can tell you later on, the software was not worth 5 grand.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, I know
it used to be right.
$10,000 for an Apple II.
And used Turtle Graphics.
Back in the day.
Turtle Graphics.
I
know that one had Turtle Graphics.
Okay.
So because we were programming in Turtle. That was what One of our see, that's one thing that I miss with the old CRTs and some of the old computers. I was just looking here at the Compis. Compis was a Swedish or Scandinavian, I think a Swedish computer back in the, it would have been the early mid 80s when I was in school, early 80s. And I mean, I could already program then on the VIC 20 and possibly 64, but one thing it had was turtle graphics, and turtle graphics were great. That doesn't exist anymore. Everything's pixels.
On top ago, yeah.
There were some neat things you could do with turtle graphics.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sprites, though, isn't it?
No.
It was.
No. Well, yeah, exactly. It's a very different type. So what you'd have is, you know, when you, so you still have the remnants of that in the Delphi libraries when you're going to draw bitmaps. You sort of move to a particular coordinate,
Mm,
and then you say pen down, basically, and you say draw to,
yeah.
and you give the
Yeah.
coordinates, and you can
Yeah.
make polygons like that. So you sort of have that in vector. It's basically all vector graphics, true vector graphics. So if you've ever played the arcade game version of Asteroids, that's vector graphics.
Mm,
There are no
Right.
pixels. If you go to Palace Arcade, they have the old original vector graphics, and I think the first Star Wars game also had that. It's one where you attack the Death Star. I think that also was vector graphics. So no pixels, no pixels, none.
no, no, that's
And,
right.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. You know, Asteroids was Asteroids was done in vector graphics, right?
yeah,
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I actually built an Asteroids clone in Oracle Forms, which is it's like there's no vector graphics support. There's image support. That's about it. I think I did this. Yeah, I'm thinking about going to a conference in Germany or the US later in the year and do a presentation on it.
No,
So
yeah.
it kind of looks vector graphics, but everything's actually just images
yeah,
and very carefully overlaid to get the right Z ordering. Otherwise, an asteroid kind of a part of the asteroid that's not actually there ends up kind of overriding other things that shouldn't do.
you're accurate. That's an
But this
accurate.
was funny because I built this. So this has a what do you call it? Vector, a inertial. So if you think about like Space Invaders, right? So your spaceship just goes left, right, and it immediately accelerates, right? There's no acceleration time. It's just one speed, left, right, left, right. But with this one, I had to build in inertial graphics because you can thrust in a direction that is not the direction that you're going in. So whenever you've got to keep track of where you're pointing because that's where you're thrusting, but also the direction you could be going somewhere else, and you've got to kind of adjust it. So I built this inertial guidance system to deal with that, and then I haven't got anything to release this, but I also did a lunar lander. Lunar lander game. There we go. Yeah, something like that. Where you've got this little spaceship going down. So the same thing, you could thrust in a different direction because you can spin that ship around. So I took that vector-based thrust vectoring from asteroids, but then I had to add in one extra thing, and that was gravity.
Yeah.
Right, because this is basically the same engine as asteroids, but now gravity can suck you down as well. So, but yeah, funny both you mentioned because both of those were the vector games, but I basically built them. I actually wrote a little Delphi program to help with that. So like with both the lunar lander spaceship and the asteroid spaceship, I had to get like 20 different versions of it spinning around at different angles. So there's like one with the spaceship pointing up, one slightly to the left of that, one twisted around a little bit more. So I wrote a Delphi program in FireMonkey because FireMonkey is great because you can spin anything around. You can take a button and spin that
Oh,
around.
yeah.
So I did that in FireMonkey and just said take the one image, then spin it around, save it out to a file.
Mm,
I
mm.
see, I see. So you had a large library of about 40 different yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, just see if I can bring those up. Presentations.
Well, my missus bought me and my young son of a Sinclair Spectrum for Christmas. And on Christmas Day, me and my boy did Alien Attack, which is pretty much what
Right.
it's got.
Oh no, it's different. It's Space Invaders.
We had a bomber up ahead which would fly randomly left or right, and
Right.
random speed as well. And down below, we could
There we go.
fire our missiles to hit the bomber. We did
Right.
Plugged into the TV.
Yeah.
No,
That'd be a Christmas to remember, I reckon.
gotta think about that. On TV, I get. I think that's picture. What is that?
So it was funny here with the ship. I had to come up with something.
Isn't it?
You had what? How many?
Yeah, I played around a lot of different versions, but yeah, it's just an image just spun around different angles.
Yeah.
You had nine
So
different images, didn't you?
yeah, I played around again like just 5 degrees. I think this is doing
Yeah.
what's that 45-degree steps.
45s, yeah.
But what I found is just when you were trying to use the key to rotate the ship, the 5-degree steps were just too small.
Yeah, yeah.
It looked a lot smoother, but the gameplay just wasn't right. It just felt wrong.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I went with 45.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what the Atari 2600 did because I think it had sprites that overlapped neatly, so you didn't have rectangles. But on the other hand, it turned at I think 12.5-degree angles. But basically had 16 different angles, I think, or maybe or somewhere thereabouts.
Mm.
So maybe it also had bitmaps as well. The Atari 2600 was definitely pixelated. It was not vector graphics.
Right.
Mm.
That's
Very
The
pixelated.
the Vector Graphics arcade machine. What was that called? It was like a home one. Yeah, called a Vectrex.
Oh yes,
Um,
and that one I wanted
now
because you
they
your vision for
that's
that, couldn't you?
yeah. So this isn't original. I can tell because of the size.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
gonna play anything? Here we go. Yeah. So this was Vector Graphics based. They've just brought out a re-release of that, but unfortunately, they made it a mini. If they made it a full size one, I think I'd buy one. But um, yeah. So there's now a Vectrex Mini, and you can actually buy them right now.
156 by 192 pixels.
Yeah, there we
Do
go.
that, can you buy them with a stereoscopy add-on? Because that'd be neat.
With the what, sorry?
Because I seem to remember because that one looked quite large. The one I remember was
Yeah.
smaller, and there was a much deeper
4K.
sort of
Right.
scope in. And I think you could actually have so you could look in and you could see it in 3D.
Yeah.
Or three.
Like there was a
Right.
stereoscopy capability.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't see many of these. I
800.
just reading the history on it. I didn't think they had multiple models.
That's better.
Yeah, I think it was only the one model, but yeah, it's actually quite large. You see, they're sitting next to a guy.
Yeah, that's larger than I
Yeah.
remember. I remember something about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Quite small.
but I guess yeah, you look at the size of it, and it's actually kind of too big for a lot of people collecting things. But yeah, the Vectrex Mini. So they've made it exactly the same, but I think they've also bundled a load of games into it.
Yeah.
The colors that you're seeing there, that's actually just like an overlay that you stick on the screen, right? 'Cause that was how they, each game typically came with a. See, that looks a lot smaller, doesn't it? Maybe you're right. Yeah, I mean that's got to be smaller than This one
No,
here.
but
mini
that one
format.
says
Yeah.
contains a mini format. So that was the remake.
Yeah.
That's a
This is
remake.
more like the size that I think I
Big
only saw them once.
Originally.
Yeah, weren't a lot of sales of those in Perth. So, but, the kids I knew in school at the time, people, we didn't have these.
No.
We've taken off a bit less than this on here.
I can't remember that.
Something
Yeah,
like
here.
Remember that.
1982. Goodness
Yeah.
me.
you're saying relative to on a 4K screen.
Yeah.
Like if I start, oh, that one doesn't show it. But if
I had a pluggable Sharp PC
Back in
7000
the day, they didn't have
two floppy disk drives.
Yeah.
Like an IBM PC compatible one?
Yes, and it read basic with Turbo Pascal.
Yeah, Turbo Pascal, I remember it well. We were just kicking off. Then I remember came down to Perth, and I bought a 20 megabyte hard drive, and we wrapped it up and put it in a little bag and everything to sort of take it up to Port Hedland because it might shake to bits. 20 megabyte, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Big
it
one.
cost about $600.
Yeah. The first computer I saw working was at an exhibition at the Wollongong Tech College. And it was running a CAD system, and it was about 1977, 78. And it was used to design HMAS Tobruk,
Oh,
the
was it?
transport ship. And they showed how they could pull the dimensions out of the pipework of all the parts of the ship and print them out. And it ran on an S100 bus, and it had colour graphics.
Amazing.
Have you guys seen one of these? This is a Commodore
the
PET.
Yeah, I remember the old Commodore
I haven't got one. I've been trying to get one for 20 years.
But I've never
Really annoying. One actually came up being given away for free a couple of weeks ago, and I just missed out on seeing it and didn't get it. That would have been just a shell, nothing. Well, I think there was guts inside, but it was so rusted out it would never work.
That's
But
really nice.
I had a friend who had one of these, so I used to play around
So
that at the time.
1980s space, doesn't it? That looks so 1980s design style.
Yeah, and this little chiclet keyboard here. If you've ever used one of those, oh god, absolutely horrible. It's about as bad as like the Sinclair ZX80. Um, X80. They had the same thing. I think the Sinclair was probably worse. Yeah, so if you look at the Sinclair there, same thing, chiclet keyboard. But yeah, I think the Sinclair was actually worse than the Commodore.
Oh, absolutely. The Commodore was easy to use.
Yeah.
Very, very slim computer though.
And the Commodore had, I think there are two versions, the main versions. Let me have a look.
I remember using the Victor.
So they basically they had one that was like that, and another one.
That's a good one. This is one.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, see, computer keyboard there.
Yeah.
This ought to be a European one, you can tell, because they couldn't sell it as the PET because somebody already had that name, so they sold it as CBM, Commodore Business Machines. So yeah, that's European. And then they brought out this ugly looking one, which I really don't like. Now, where'd that go? Oh, it's here a second ago. There we go. That was the last model, I think. I look at that and go, oh, that's just, I don't like that. I'd still get it if I saw it, but yeah.
That roundedness reminds them of the VIC 20 that came after it, I suppose.
Reminds me of like
Yeah.
like
Star
2001: A
Wars
Space Odyssey.
No, VIC 20 came after that.
I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure it was VIC 20 and the Commodore 64, and then they made the 128 and the Amiga, and then that ended it.
Yeah, no, I think you're pretty much right there. You missed out a few. So the Commodore PET was first. So then all the people in Commodore were like, yeah, let's build like business computer. Let's build like a better one of this, right? A more business oriented one, more memory disk and so on. But then the guy in charge said, no, 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 we don't want to do that. We don't want to sell to the high end. We want to go low. We want to sell like millions of cheap, crappy computers. And that's why they went for like the VIC 20, which was,
Mm.
it had similar specs to this, I think, but the
You know,
Commodore 64 was much better specs, but it was dumbed down. It was aimed at the home market. It was aimed at kids playing games.
Mm.
and
They
programming them,
basically,
thank you very much. I programmed in assembler using Commodore 64, just
yeah.
saying. But you know what? My very first Commodore, no, my very first own VIC-20 game. So I had these Usborne books that taught me how to program in BASIC. I've looked back at them now, and they're man, it was spaghetti code. But anyway, so
Yeah.
what happened was I woke up one Sunday morning and I thought about this text adventure game. I thought I'm going to go and code that. So I went down into the basement, and by the time breakfast was done, I had written my first computer game, run out of memory error. So if I hadn't deleted some of the lines because I'd written some wrong lines and deleted them, so it couldn't compact.
Yeah,
If I hadn't done that, maybe it would have run. But
yeah.
because I had that and it just couldn't compact, it 3K just wasn't enough.
Did you have a cassette to save it on?
It was right.
Yeah, I did, and I tried saving it and then loading it, hoping that might compact it, but it didn't.
Mm.
Those early DOS programs, they only had 640K or something. They had to swap the stuff out and swap it back in. It was what
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We
that's
we
days they
we used to
were. Oh,
constantly be battling with auto exec back config sys, juggling things
yeah,
around, trying to
yeah,
squeeze things in
well,
to run some program.
amazing.
you know
Turbo
why?
Pascal, yeah, you did
Because
that.
there was some head honcho at IBM said, "Oh, come on, nobody's ever going to need more than
That's right.
640K."
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill Gates has denied that he ever said that, but everybody else says he did.
But it wasn't him; it was someone else.
Yeah, that's one you probably haven't seen, Peter, and they probably never. I never saw him here in Perth, but that's so that's like the next model up from the 64, but then crammed into a luggable box with a tiny little screen.
yeah.
What? No, 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 no. The next one up was a Commodore 128.
Yeah, but that was basically a beefed up 64, so it's not really a major change. I mean, like, it's in the same bread box. Um, Not
And then
really, but
came the
yeah. So if you look
Amiga.
at, oh no,
Oh,
kind of similar.
look,
Okay, so
top left picture. Top left picture.
top left, I think, is a
Oh,
VIC
yeah, yeah, that one,
20.
that one. Yes.
Yeah, top left there, that's a VIC 20. They put the Commodore 64 in the same bread box because they didn't want to redo the molding for the thing because that cost a
Yeah.
fortune.
Yeah.
But then later on, they re-released the 64 in this fancier looking thing. So this first one's called the bread box model. This one looks more like an Amiga, like sharp edges.
Mm.
Yeah.
The 128, I don't think we're seeing there.
Can you zoom in?
No. So what we're seeing, no, it's not this. So that's just another 64. These two here are basically the same. The one you're seeing at the top, that's a Commodore 16, which is a
Oh,
bit weird because it was a VIC 20, then the Commodore 64, and then they brought out the Commodore 16. It's like, well, it's a bit weird coming out after the 64. The idea was the 16 was going to be a dumbed down, cheaper version of the 64, so lower specs, cheaper. And they actually brought it out, and I've actually got one of these. And well, and 64 and a VIC 20. But what happened, this Commodore 16 was aimed at the low end of the market, really cheap price. But in the meantime, the Commodore 64 kept coming down in price to the point where they were selling Commodore 64s for something like $50 or $60 in the US.
Wow.
Probably more like 100 here, right? So the Commodore 64 was so cheap, people were like, well, why would I buy a Commodore 16? The 64 is already dirt cheap. Because originally 64 was, like the equivalent of maybe $1,500 Australian in today's money, and then it came, just kept
yeah.
coming down. So that the 16 is quite collectible because it just didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
Weird thing about these, they all work fine. If you get an old Commodore 64, you plug it in, it probably works, no problems at all. They don't tend to blow the caps like a lot of old computers.
My original Swedish one has blown the cap, but I do have. Now I regret. You see, in 2017. Remember when I was really, really, really sick just before the surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine who died half a year later in Greylands. He was severely schizophrenic, it turns out. And he was a massive collector, hoarder basically, and he had I think four of them, and he lent me. I said, yeah, I'll give it to you, so now I'll buy it.
Yeah,
And I only took one, and then he had all these other games and all these other discs as well, and all these other things, and he was basically offering them to me, and I did felt bad taking them. And I suspect that once he died, they just cleared out and threw everything away, which is just such a shame because there'd be so many collectibles in there.
Yeah.
Lots of games
Yep.
and fully functioning C64. So that one I do have.
Yeah. So you can see here the Commodore 128. So they brought out the Commodore 64 with this fancier looking, more modern looking design, and the 128 is basically that same one. So if you look at the where were we? Yeah, if you look at this one here,
That's a 128,
right?
yeah.
So no, that's a Commodore 64. So the Commodore 64 came out in two designs, this breadbox design and this one.
Oh, right.
And this looks very similar to the Commodore 128.
Right. Okay.
Right. So even you can't really trust the colors on the photos. So yeah, but I don't think the Commodore 128 sold it well. From memory, I think they didn't make it 100% backwardly compatible.
It was not successful.
And I think that's why that one had problems. But eventually they changed to the Amiga, and the Amiga actually was a brilliant machine for its day. It was much better than IBM PCs at playing games, for example, and graphics, and for desktop publishing as well. Anywho, I could be talking about this all day, so I'll pull a plug there, I guess. Hey, Paul, just want to think about it. I just had a delivery came in today. For the next meeting we have, we'll try to bring this along. I've got a wireless HDMI, so you stick one dongle into a laptop, stick the other one into the TV, and then it just wirelessly broadcasts. So I'll bring that along. We'll make sure we got cables as well. But yeah, I thought I'd give that a try. And the screen resolution is actually pretty good. I think it'll do like 2500. It's not a 4K, but we don't use 4K anyway in meetings. So I'll bring it along if we have a face-to-face meeting.
Yeah, amazing.
Interesting. Well, Jeff is either lasted all this time.
Jeff, you're a star, mate.
I'm still here.
He's staying curled up in the fetal position on the floor with just a pillow.
23 minutes past 12. Past bedtime, mate.
Have any of you guys tried to resurrect there's like Turbo Pascal, you can download it for free now.
Okay.
There's a bunch of versions out there, legitimate, just buying for free, but yeah, that's back in the days when you bought it and it came with like a truckload full of manuals.
Yeah, that's right. I
I've
remember
got
those days.
I've got a bunch
Examples
of
in there and
those.
everything. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's still on my hard disk in a DOS box.
Same. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Like we still use a Turbo Pascal computer program every single day.
I remember you could buy the original Pascal. You could buy it from for $25 and something or the other. It wasn't even worth trying to download it. It was, get the whole thing, the book, the whole lot, one go.
Came with a massive load of books.
See you guys. See you. I need to get going.
Yeah,
okay, folks. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, I've been reading a book recently on the history of Turbo Pascal and Delphi. That's by the guy we had him present at last year's symposium. Yeah, it's quite a good book. Doesn't spend as much time on Delphi as I'd prefer. And they always, the history books always tend to focus on the downfall instead of the the birth and the boom days.
Yeah.
Um,
The Borland days were pretty good. The stuff
yeah,
that they did in those early days was just amazing.
yeah,
They had they had stuff that was, like the spreadsheets and everything were kind of, they were really at the top end of town. It
yeah.
was a long time before Excel caught up with them. Of course, it's all history now, but there was
Well, there we go. Bob's got a 5 1/4 drive.
yeah, the word perfect. Remember that? That was miles miles ahead of Word. Microsoft
Turbo
Word.
C
Yeah,
1.5.
Turbo C. Yeah,
Mm.
Word Perfect was the number one word processor for years.
yeah, it was
Too
great
slow
one.
and they transferring it over to Windows and they
Yeah,
lost their market completely.
yeah,
And I still use the word star key
Oh, wow.
bindings.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I
Control,
mean,
was it KC, KK?
yeah,
Like you use the tag like the beginning
yeah,
of the
yeah,
copy,
yeah.
the end of the
Control
copy, and then
P.
another. Yeah.
Well, what do you
It was
guys reckon is
control.
going to be the future of Microsoft if they come out with all this business of having to buy new computers every few years to keep up with their wretched stuff? I reckon there's going to be a mass exodus towards Linux.
Well, it's
Linux is
interesting.
getting,
Like France just recently
No
said
way.
yeah,
all government departments can't use Windows anymore. They
yep,
made them change to
all
Linux.
through Europe it's happening now. They're getting rid
Who
of
said that? Sorry.
France
I,
is
I mm,
France has moved all of their stuff off because Microsoft wouldn't. I think that it happened that they were doing something, and Microsoft sort of turned off their stuff, so the whole country couldn't do whatever they were doing.
right.
So they said, "No, we're not going to do that anymore." And if you look at the number of the
Mm,
number of places around Europe, they've just about dumped it and they've gone to straight over to Linux. And the
yeah.
distributions of Linux now, they're getting pretty good. Before it used to be
Yeah, so
hard work, but
I think the
now,
thing with France, given the timing, I think that was a lot about anti-USA sentiment.
yeah, yeah,
They haven't been happy with America and Trump well, really it's been the last like what 10
yeah,
years now.
yeah, yeah. Before
Um,
Trump, you could
and this
trust
is
them,
their
but
way of pushing back on it. Even though, Microsoft's got nothing to do with the
yeah,
administration, but
no,
I think that's why they did that. I don't think it's about Microsoft. I think it's just about France seems to have some anti-American sentiment at this point, and that
yeah,
would take a long time to turn around. So
yeah.
yeah, once
Well,
it's now like a momentum has been building up.
You know about this going to Linux thing.
sorry, mate.
Mhm.
You were talking about there just a minute ago.
Yeah, there's lots of distributions now.
Sorry,
Ubuntu
try
seems
again,
to be
John.
the most.
Tell us again what you were saying about everyone's going to Linux. It's hard to believe.
I think it's because of the instability. As Scott has pointed out, it's this crazy man in the White House at the moment. He's doing all sorts of things, and so what they're doing is they're saying, well, we're not going to have our stuff on a
Can you
Microsoft
guys hear
server.
us?
We're going to have it.
Testing.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
So what was that?
Looks to me like
I just stopped sharing my screen. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm still here. What was that, Paul?
I just plugged and unplugged in a microphone, and looks like it's sent everything completely crazy.
Yeah, the screen was jumping around here a
Breeze
bit.
back again.
Yeah.
It should be
Yeah,
fine.
sorry, I'm gonna need to bail. It's
Yeah.
getting a bit late for me. I need
Yeah.
this boy's gotta pay the bills and
I
gonna
can't see
work
any
tomorrow.
reason.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, anyway, we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay.
48 blinking.
Oh,
All right.
sorry, I
Take
broke
Yeah,
care.
up
our
the
microphone
phone.
is showing stuff, so
Yeah, it's coming through all right.
is this
People
Working
are still
fine.
there.
Yeah, we can hear you okay.
no, I'm not getting anything on. I'm not getting any audio out at the moment anyway from
No,
anywhere. So I'm
When
sorry
you're
about that.
talking, it's coming on
Yeah.
the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Paul?
Yeah, it's him talking.
You can hear us.
I'm,
Can you
I'm
hear
sorry
us?
about that. It's probably a good time to
No,
cut thing. I'm going to unplug this and see.
10:30.
Hello.
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 Jeez. All right. Well, a sudden and abrupt death to the meeting,
It's been sabotaged.
but it's a good time. Thank you everyone for joining us, and fantastic discussion.
And this is the longest one we've ever had.
Yeah, no,
We'll
fantastic one.
get Peter to tell us about that UI thing with the JSON files next month.
Yep.
Amazing.
Sounds good.
Also, symposium, 8th of May, Friday the 8th of May. Yeah, definitely online access available.
Yeah.
I've made feeble attempts to also extend it to give us some online option on the Saturday, like with really good. But I don't know if that'll work out. I may have delayed on that a bit too long, but we'll find out. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
and
Good night.
Thanks,
Thank you.
folks.
get some sleep.
Okay, take care.
Cheers all.